Right, good evening all. Welcome back to Virtual Pool 4 Online. We're back here for a match, a third round match in this year's 2022 Virtual World Straight Pool Championships. And it's going to be between Moz, who's from England, based in the States, and Albinario from Sweden. And they are going to go at it at the top of the hour in about 6 minutes' time. We've we've had some results. Good evening and welcome. Yeah, we're just about 6 minutes away. If we look down from top to bottom on the winner's side, we've got the match tonight. And if we go further down, the winner of the match tonight is going to be playing Tommy in round 4. If we go further down, we've got Stub, who's gone through really far too easily against Popman. I was expecting Popman to put up a better show than he did, and he never did anything really. And Stub got his highest run of the tournament, I think a 60. I think it was that. He's now going to be stepping up in class, no doubt about that. He's going to be playing Hairpig next in round 4. If we move across to the one loss side, we've had a result this afternoon, which was between, just finished a few minutes ago, between Shibo and Bankster. And Shibo went through 150 to 119. We also had a result earlier this afternoon between Acero from Japan and Eloquenti. Acero got through there 150 to 95. So Shibo now plays Acero to see who is going to play Popman in the one loss side. Further up, MC Clarkey, he got through against the Great Guru the other night there. He's now through to play Mr. Fox, fantastic Mr. Fox, to then see who's going to play Sergaresh. Further up, we have, in case you haven't heard, Bedhead, who got forfeited against Popman because he never had his router working, and it was an easy fix at the end of the day. He couldn't get VP4 to download the assets, but since he reinstalled his router, everything's okay. But he's now on that one loss side, and he's now waiting to play the winner of the match between LS3 and Wanwa, which is later tonight in about an hour and 40 minutes time. I think I can hear Steve breathe in the background now. First thing to say before Steve starts.
Good morning, Hugh.
Good evening.
Good evening, Hugh.
I have messed about with Discord. I don't know how good it will sound or how bad it will sound, so you just have to bear with us. We have still another 2 or 3 minutes. What was I talking about? Yeah, the match tonight that's scheduled is in about an hour and 40 minutes time, and the winner of that match will play Bedhead. And then further up, we have Brainfall Out, who's now through to play Woody, and the winner of that will then play Larry. So everything's stepping up. We're going up in class now. All the ones that can't get there are going to drop by the wayside. So this is the match we're waiting on. The match between Moz and Albinario. I don't know what you think, Steve, but I think Moz is beginning to find his feet a bit more in this tournament, and he could be a danger to Albi if Albi's not capable. On the other hand, though, I would say in Albi's defence, he's been putting in a lot of practice. You sound as if you're out in a gale, Steve.
Really? Well, I mess with Discord too, so
yeah.
If I have to, I can change some settings.
No, you don't. No, you don't need to do anything. In fact, let me see. What's these guys saying? Are they saying any echo or anything?
Everybody hear me okay?
Welcome, everybody. Give us a sound check. Are you still getting some sort of echo? If you are, it's Discord that's doing it. I can't do anything else to put it right. I've tried everything. I went onto YouTube, watched a guy set it all up, tell you what to get rid of. Did it all like he said to do, and we'll know whether it works or it doesn't. Oh, and the other thing is I've also got a shortcut for my little clock, so I don't need to tab out, and I just need to remember to set my clock. Very slight echo, well, we'll have to live with it. That'll do. Now, what else do I need to do? Yes. Right, what are we all here for tonight? What have we got in Virtual Pool 4?
No bar, no pinball machines, no bowling alleys, just pool. Nothing else.
There you go.
So, as far as your question goes about this match, I definitely think Albin's the favorite. Moz, Moz played pretty good last match. I think the real key to this is, who is going to play good patterns, because both these guys execute pretty well. I mean, unless somebody plays poorly, they're both going to pocket balls well, and they both have a pretty good idea where the cue ball's going. It's just the little things in straight pool, better patterns, how to plan for the break shot. I think the guy that does that well is going to be the guy that wins the match.
Yep. That sums it up probably right. So we just wait and see. What time is it? We're knocking on the door. The room should be going up. Both players are in. Albie has been practicing the last 4 or 5 days. He's been locked away in a room. Moz has just appeared this afternoon, or late on this afternoon. I think he's been getting a bit of practice in. The room is up. In we go. Lag for the break. And then if you win the lag, stick your opponent in. Now, my little clock should be going up in the corner for the match time once they get in. Hugh, that testing video you showed the other day, mystery voice, run out, Rob. No, I know Rob's voice. No, I know what you're talking about now, Matt. No, I still don't know who that guy was. I haven't a clue. Need to ask Larry to listen to the video. But I still haven't a clue whose voice it is. So Moz, we're waiting on his arrival, and then we will lag. Here we go. So once again, Moz at the bottom of the screen. And my little clock is underway.
Well, this is going to be close. Definitely looks like Moz.
Albinario's at the top. Albinario just
at the top. Okay.
Yep. So Moz put into break. Now you see that's actually that's what I was just going to say. If you can get that hit right, then that one ball will come back across into the pack, and it's the first player I've seen do it.
Well, that's not the classic break. He broke a little different, because classically you go to the third rail on a long rail, and then to the fourth rail by that first diamond. But he just went straight to the end rail, which maybe in virtual pool is a better way to break. I mean, that was a fantastic break.
And again, look at the length on the shot.
Here. Hey, semi. Oh yeah, I mean this is trouble here.
Unless he spotted something, let's have a look.
I think he can thin the 5 ball. I think that's what he's going to have to do. Yep, and he played it very well. Boy, that's good speed. He didn't quite get to the end rail, but that was a turnabout there.
Napnick has just said that's Albie's first match of the tournament. Let's have a quick look. Yeah, he got a bye in the first round, and a Sarah forfeited in the second round. That's right.
Well,
so
that didn't work out for him. I think this one ball's dead, and that's the thing about rubbing a rack. It's close, but I think the one ball is dead.
Well, you talking about a 4-ball combo?
Yeah. See,
Wow.
and this is the thing: is guys don't look. I think that one ball was dead.
Yeah.
That was a chance, to open up the rack and make a big run, and just passed it up. Now, by the same token, the 7-ball is probably dead. Yeah, maybe not. The 7-ball
Looks as if it's going to the point.
Oh, it's close. It should throw a little. I think it'll go. I think that 7-ball will go. So now it won't. But, you guys listening, I mean, you should be looking at the rack. Every time somebody rubs a rack like that, you want to go take a look. So
keep telling them, Steve. I keep saying it. Keep telling them. Right.
Albin just gave up where he potentially had a shot to run a big run, and instead he gave up the table to Moz because he didn't look at the rack. The same thing in one pocket, you got to really look at the rack. I'm not sure. I think he just wants to soft draw this into the 2-ball. He hit a little firm to get the soft draw, but he got away with it. You're supposed to draw past that into the 2.
Yeah, sort of split in between those sets of balls there. They probably try and nudge this as well.
The 6-5 is dead. He doesn't need to nudge it. I'd leave it alone because it's dead. Yeah, that's fine. He just went up to move balls. If he can shoot the 12, now would be a good time to do it. And I think he can, because you want to try to get those balls opened up a little right there.
Yeah, you can get clean to the 12. I mean, there's not a problem.
I think that's the ball to shoot. Shoot the 12 and drop back a little, and he's going to go another way. But, I mean, this is okay, too. I mean, he's got a plan to go to the 3, and I think he probably wants to draw this. Rolling forwards is a little risky because you're so close to those other balls, you may not get the shot you want. When you got to roll forward an inch, and 2 is bad, that's a tough shot. He's still fine. I mean, he may have to shoot this 11 ball, or he can shoot the 6-5. I mean, that's pretty much that's pretty close to dead. I mean, at slow speed, it's dead for sure.
It's going well to the rail, but as long as the pace is right, you'll give every chance to go in.
Yeah, well, I mean, he can cut it. The 6 is far enough away from the 5. He can cut it a little. And I would assume he wants to just roll back up so he has a shot on the 12.
Oh, he got it nice and clean. Now he's a little bit stuck here. I think he's got a bailout anyway, but he's playing the combo.
I don't know why I'd do that. I'd shoot the 12 ball here, bump the 4, and then shoot the 14. I mean, it just solves the problem of getting that 12 ball out of there, because that ball's kind of in a funny spot.
Semi-pro made back-to-back 147s.
Yeah, I saw that.
Well, you know what they say, making 147s for show, winning the Virtual World Snooker Championship for dough.
Yeah, well, that should be coming. You would think if all those 147s, he'd win one of those.
Well, where's the break ball, Steve? What do you think, that 13 ahead of the pack? Could use it. That 6 ball's perfect for a break shot as well. If he leaves the 8 ball as the second last ball.
I like the 13 better just because less things can go wrong there. With the 6, it's a little bit harder to predict where you're going into the rack, and a little more chance of something bad happening. But I mean, the 6 was sitting in a pretty good spot to get on the 13. I would have preferred that just because, you could be at a lot of angles, and, the easy one is go forward and bump off the side rail and come back out. He's going to go 11-4, and, this is going to be kind of funny. I'd actually like an angle to cut back so I could go 2 rails at the 13. If he's going to get where he's drawing the ball, I don't like that. It's because it's hard to be precise. Yeah, this is fine here. Now he can just go 2 rails and come out, and there's a lot of room.
And that 4 ball's right on the line, and the pace looks a bit short. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't get it. I would have played the 13. I mean, the 4 is okay, but not at this angle.
Oh, this will be an aggressive shot if he plays it.
Well, you're not going to see that break shot in any straight pull books, but it worked out for him.
No, this is a little bit of pressure in this one.
Yeah, this is pretty straightforward. I don't expect him to miss this guy. His level shouldn't.
Well, commentators curse, Dave.
I shouldn't say anything.
I said, just notch that. Right. Notch that as 1 up to Steve.
Oops.
Well, it's only a run of 15.
Yeah, you can't be missing that ball. I mean, not only did he miss it, it wasn't even close to the pocket. I mean, he was at least an inch outside the pocket.
Well,
a couple.
The only good thing I could say about it is he wasn't missing them as wide of the pocket as much as Sylvia was the other night. I mean, she was hitting them to the first diamond. They were so far out.
Man, I mean, if I miss that break shot in real life, I'd be really unhappy. And my pull stroke in real life is not anywhere near as straight as Virtual pull 4 stroke.
Well, there's even more great news. Bedhead's still got his VP4 working. Welcome.
Bedhead, your VP4 works. Can you share with us?
Yeah.
Can you share with us what the problem was?
Well, I was going to ask you a question, Steve, and the question was, why didn't you think of it?
I don't know.
I'll tell you what the problem was. It was something so simple, and as I said, I thought I had mentioned resetting his router or something. I can't remember whether I did say it in those sort of terms, but anyway, Bedhead decided to reinstall his router. And lo and behold, when he came into the VP lobby, suddenly the assets started downloading, which they never had done in the first place, and that was why I couldn't get the game to run.
Well, I don't know what reinstall a router means. I mean, because
disconnect it and set it back up again.
Well, I did mention doing that. I said that the things that are typically wrong are either, the most likely is local level ISP problems, and that the one thing that you could do is you could reset your router. I did say that.
Yeah, I think it must. Well, it took 3 days for it to sink in with Bedhead, so it must be the distance between the USA across the Atlantic and heading up to Sweden that took time for him to work that out.
I mean, some routers have a little reset hole you can poke, but the easiest way to do it is just, disconnect the power, wait 30 seconds, and plug it back in. And I say wait 30 seconds because depending on the router and what it is, some of them have capacitors, and you just got to wait a little bit and make sure that the power is completely gone down on them.
You needed to install VP4 without the router, which I didn't before. That was a weird one.
Okay, so it didn't work with the router. Well, that may be a problem with how the router is set up, because you don't see this much because home routers, the way that they come, they're set up in ways that typically are just going to work. But there's ways routers can be set up where you're not going to be able to connect, which is one of the reasons why if you're in a corporation using a corporate router, sometimes they set those up in a way that a game like VP4 will not work.
So you were thinking it was that communal sort of, he's in like an apartment building?
Well, No, because he's talking about his own router, so I'm not sure what the issue is, whether it was a setup issue on the router. I mean, there's certainly things that you can set in your router that will cause problems. I mean, just a stock uh, reset defaults in a router, VP4 should work.
Well, he's got it working. That's all that matters. He's good to go. He's got no excuses now. Anyway, Albinario is getting to the nitty gritty in this first rack for him.
Yeah, and I mean, I like that 2-ball for getting on the break ball, but I think he just has to make sure that he gets not a back angle on it. He needs to be below this 14 ball or straight in. Okay, he's good enough. So this is just kind of just a little stun over. Try to get a little more angle on that 5 ball. Yep.
Now you see, there's a difference between Albinario and a lot of other guys. The first thing is he's got good to get good on that last ball, and he's only like a foot a bit away from the 5 ball, where a lot of other guys have been like 3.5 feet away.
Yeah, this one I'd hit with just he hit it easy, and there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, the thing you got to watch out for is that scratch in the side pocket. I would have hit that with probably a half a Q-tip up on the top, just to hold it and keep it from going towards the side pocket. Because, you can look where the ball's coming into the rack, and you can see how it's going to want to bounce off. And that one obviously was going to want to head towards the side pocket. I mean, all it really is looking. You just got to look at it and say, hey, the cue ball is going to hit the object ball here, and it's going to want to go this direction. And then, you can say, okay, well, I'm going to put a little topspin on it to hold it or something like that. It's not rocket science figuring out, how to play it.
Yeah, the problem with that, though, Steve, is that most of these players in this tournament don't have that thought process, none whatsoever. It's non-existent. Absolutely, and most of them I've watched. They don't even look at shots long enough. They don't do what you're talking about and look at where a ball's going to hit, what line it's going to take.
That's why I'm saying this. I'm trying to help them out. We got guys listening and watching. A lot of them are playing in the tournament, and hopefully it'll help improve the straight pool play.
Well, they haven't been listening to me. I've been moaning about it all the way through.
Well, but you're a tactical genius. You're not a straight pool player. Although you've picked up a lot. You've picked up a lot about straight pool. I mean, you got the essence of it. You need to play in one of these tournaments.
Oh, I'm not good enough. See, that's the thing. I know my limitations. Steer well clear. The eyes have gone.
Mine too. I can't make a ball.
Now, what sort of mess have we got to deal with here?
Well, I mean, looking at this, I mean, if the 15 ball and the 14 ball were both ways to get to that cluster in there, you'd really like to be able to get a break ball. So, you shoot the 15, the 13 hits the 12, and the 12 pops out. So, you just got to get a little angle on that 15 and hit those at the right speed so the 12 ball pops out and you got a break ball.
Nice.
So he needs to get around where he's got a little angle on that 15 ball where he can, he can manufacture a break ball. Instead, it looks like he's made a mistake where he's put himself in kind of a crappy spot. He's going to have to maybe shoot the 15 here.
It looks as if he's going to brush the 13, maybe catch the 14. It's hard to say whether he's going to.
He might get, if he can get a piece of the 14. The problem is if you hit this easy, you're not gonna have a shot potentially. I mean, yeah, if he brushes the 14, he should be able to come up with a shot on the 12. Oh, he was able to do that. Good.
Yeah.
Well, he could bump the 15 here. This will work. Yep, there we go.
That will do nice.
All right, he went about it in a more difficult manner, but it worked out.
You see, now he's set. Now he can take that 4, he could take the 11 and deal with those 2 balls into the opposite corner, and then he's left with the 3 and the 2.
Yeah, and I think that's what he's going to have to do, which isn't optimal as far as getting on the 15, but I mean, that's kind of what he's got. I mean, I think he could potentially like shoot the 14 or 12 here after the 11 and then leave one of them. I'd probably rather do that because
the only thing here is he's left himself. He's just had to drag the pace there to control that cue ball. Played it well.
Yeah, I don't like leaving 3-2 for last. I would shoot the 12.
Good evening, Tam.
I'd go 12-2 and then either 3-14 or 14-3, one or the other. Okay, he's in a spot. I'd go 2-3 here, yeah, and then shoot the 14 last. I like shooting the 14 to get on that break ball better than the 3. The problem with the 3, it's not that it's bad, but if you get funny on angle, you get straight in, you're in trouble. You get too much angle, you're in trouble. So I like the 14 last because it's just more reliable, going 2 rails. Well, he didn't put it where he can go 2 rails. See, this angle just makes it hard. I mean, you got to think about it. Now he's drawing it, and I don't like this. He hit it good, though.
Yeah, he's a wee bit further away, but I mean, he's sitting flush here with this one.
This is not a shot you should be missing. I mean, what you should be looking at is where is this coming into the rack, and it's on. I think it's on. It could hit the 5 first. That was on the high side of the 10. Yeah, that's good. So that shot's easy because it's just going to pop out if it's the high side of a ball. It's when you're hitting on the low side of a ball that you start getting in trouble, or it could just go shooting into the corner pocket.
Yeah, I presume he can see the 6. Yeah, he's just he's taking his time and having a look around.
Yeah, that's a good thing to do. Kind of figure out the puzzle. I mean, the 4 ball is probably the best way to get to that cluster. He's got a potential break ball with the 8. He's got a potential break ball with a 14. Those 2 are already sitting pretty good. I'd be looking how I could get to that 4 ball so that I could break that cluster.
Well,
it looks like he's going to do that using this 8.
Yeah. And of course, doing that, he may well, it could end up good, bad, or ugly here. Just he's maybe a wee bit straight. He's got an angle.
Yeah, this is a shot you're gonna want to draw. You don't want to go through this because through could go towards the pocket, and through is not going to necessarily get you a shot. Yeah, see, I don't like that. I would have drawn that ball back because I would have felt like in that situation, drawing it almost for sure you're going to come up with a shot.
Well, he's got the 10 on the corner.
Yeah, he got away with it. Everything's a matter of percentages. Every time you go to do that with a cluster, what's the percentage chance that you're going to have a shot afterwards, and you want to maximize that. And I think his way was maybe 65%, and my way was maybe 85-90%. There's always a little luck involved when you're doing that and hitting balls hard.
Well, good evening to the late comers. Welcome aboard. So, Albinario, first scoring opportunity. He's on 36.
Yeah, he just shot a potential break ball, so he's got to figure out what he's going to break off of. Right now, I'm thinking 14.
Oh, I think he's going for the 10 because it's sitting right in the corner.
Yeah, it's far enough down. And I don't like breaking off low balls as much, but I will say, I've watched people like John Schmidt play straight pull a lot, and John breaks off low balls a lot. I'm not saying that he likes them, but I mean, he doesn't mind them. I think the thing you got to really watch out for is just the kiss from the rack. Where that one is, it shouldn't be a problem. Yeah, he's a little straighter and desired, but I mean, he should be able to move this rack pretty good. You just got to watch the scratch up in the upper corner pocket because it's possible to do that.
Yeah, I don't think Albie will put too much into it to do that. Just looking to get a shot.
He hit that a good way. He didn't put too much draw on it. And this is a perfect time to wham that 7 ball with a lot of top and just force the cue ball to spin through the rack. Now, I haven't seen a lot of guys do that on VP, but if you watch guys playing straight pull in real life, you'll see them hit balls with a tremendous amount of top spin and it just gear actions all the way through the rack.
Well, I think you're right, Steve, but I think he's doing it off the 12.
Yeah, I don't like this as much because, you could get onto the wrong side of the 4 if you hit this really hard. I mean, he was sitting perfect on the 7. This, you don't want to get on the outside of that 4 ball. See what happened there?
Yeah,
and the problem is, and he didn't even hit it that hard. On the 7, he could have really, really moved it and completely split that rack apart. He's got a good feel for things where, gee, maybe I shouldn't do this or that. I mean, he doesn't always, he's not always picking the right way to do it, but he's got a good feel for, how he should hit the shots.
Little bit of Botman left English there just to kick the cue ball up the table.
Yeah, I mean, that's just real good cue ball control there. That shot obviously can get away from you. That was really well played. But what Albin does well is he doesn't use extreme Q-tip positions a lot. And on those kind of shots, it's easier to control it when you don't get too extreme with the tip position.
Well, there's a little bit of a critical point coming up here in a second or two. Now, he's got a combo. If he's already studied the 9 and the 3, because I'm pretty certain that pretty much is dead on.
Yeah, the 9 and 3 is good. The 5 you can shoot. The 4 you can shoot. I mean, there's this. He's got a lot of options there.
And he's got the cue ball spot on for the combo. He might take the 2 though and lead. No, does the 2 go?
The 2 doesn't go. He's going to shoot the combo. And this is nice because you don't want to hit this real easy, but you don't need to blast this. You're gonna get the 14 ball moving over to the other corner. You just don't want to let the cue ball sit on top of other balls and freeze to them. You have to hit this hard enough that you're not going to have a ball like, if it hits the 14 and sits on top of that 5-15, yeah, see like that. That's a good speed because the ball's separated.
Well, he's on the 14, the 2 ball sitting plumb.
That's what I'm saying about Albin. He's got a good feel for that. He understood the right speed to hit that shot. A lot of guys would hit that way too hard. Stubb would have blasted that. And some guys may hit it too easy and get stuck on balls. Nothing's more frustrating in straight pull than getting stuck on top of a ball and not having a shot. That's a really bad feeling.
Well, the run goes to 50.
Yeah, and he's sitting pretty good here. The 2 ball is a reasonable break ball. I'm sure that's what he's looking at. He could use the 7 too. The 7's not a bad break ball because the 9 is sitting there. Those side pockets, I've talked about this before. With a side pocket break shot, it's difficult to get the correct angle. So you want a ball like the 9 ball where he can just shoot that up table and stop the cue ball, and he's perfect on the 7 for the break shot. So that's always a key thing. If you're going to look for side pocket break shots, you need to look for a real easy way to get on the break ball.
Yeah, you'd be something like probably that for the break shot in a 7.
Yeah, if I was playing this in real life, I might play for that 7 as a break in the side, just because the 9 is sitting so good to get on it. And you know, trying to use it to break in the corner, it's a little bit on the high side, so it's you can't really use it in the corner. Now the 2 ball, obviously you can. I mean, the 2 ball is sitting perfect. But I'd actually play for the 7 as a break ball on this. I'll be surprised if he does, but you never know.
He's just going to roll through in the 7 into the side and leave himself on the 2. That looks the obvious thing he's going to do here. Let's have a look at the angle he's got.
He's gonna use the 2, and this is a perfect angle.
You know, look at the distance. I mean, all he has to do is just roll through. I mean, it couldn't be any simpler.
He's not going to be super close to this 2 ball unless he's going to accept more angle, because he's got a little bit too much on this angle on the 7 to be real close to the 2. Yeah, he's a little further, and he doesn't maybe have as straight an angle as he wanted, but that's a good compromise. I mean, I like this break shot. So this is going right into that 9 ball. I would hit this with just, you know, half a Q-tip up high, maybe a little more, because this is similar to what he had before, where the cue ball could bounce off that 9 and go over into the side pocket. So you want to hold this a little with a little bit of top to keep it from, you want to keep the cue ball below that side pocket. You don't want to put a lot of top on this, but you're just going to put enough to hold it.
Oh, goodness
see, that
me.
was going well. But you saw where the cue ball went, right? It went right at the side pocket, and you know it would have gone in, except the 3 hit it, and unfortunately for Albin, it ended up going up table. But
forgot to hit the replay quicker.
that is all from not having topspin on that cue ball to hold it, and it was predictable. I mean, I told you guys it's going to want to head towards the side pocket, and sure enough, right at it.
Yeah, you called it.
You know, again, it's not rocket science. I'm just looking at the ball and saying, okay, the cue ball's coming at this angle, and it's going to rebound in this direction. There's nothing that tricky about it.
Well, the run ends on 54.
That's a shame.
Well, Moz has got certainly lots to choose from as far as just picking off this deficit, or starting to pick off the deficit.
Yeah, for Moz, you know, we'll see how he breaks this rack apart and stuff. I mean, Albin was playing real solid pool there. I mean, he made a mistake on not playing the break ball right, but I mean, he was moving the cue ball well. He was thinking well. He was solving all the problems, and that's what Moz needs to do here. I'd be looking at probably bumping the 11 ball here. You don't want to run into the 12. That's not good. Yeah.
Well, the 9 and 2 don't need to be disturbed. As long as you can get on the top of that 9, you can pot the 9, no problem.
Yeah, I mean, ideally the 7 ball is setting the best for break ball, and then key ball to get on it. I'd probably be looking at the 3 ball. The 15 ball's a little close to it, but I mean, if you can shoot the 15 in the side pocket, then it's pretty good for getting on the 7 too.
Right, Hairpig says he favours the Torsten break whenever the scratch is on in VP4. You know the one, Steve?
The Thorsten break.
I take it that's Thorsten Homan.
He might be talking about hitting it with inside, low and inside, but that particular situation wasn't one for the Thorsten break. But I think he's talking about hitting the side of the rack with low and inside English and low. I'd mentioned that before about how, I haven't seen anybody do that, but that's a great way to break because it controls the cue ball. It keeps it from going up table.
Good evening, Tommy.
Hairpig, was that what you were talking about? The low inside shot? Well, he's a little funny here because he's straight in on the 15, so he's going to have to shoot. I would be going 3, 13, and try to shoot the 15 in the side. That's what I'd be looking at.
Now, where have you put your mic, Steve? Round the back of your head?
Oh, sorry, was it a little too low there? Yeah, sorry, I got quiet.
Well, he's dead straight on this 3.
Well, yeah, a lot of guys do that where they draw all the way to the end rail, which is, I mean, that's a good play sometimes. It kind of depends on where the cue ball's coming into the rack. I think when that break comes up, the reason why it comes up is that, you look at it and you go, oh, well, I need to draw this. I'm in a situation where I need to draw it because I, could potentially go down and scratch. And if you draw it just some, you end up with a cue ball up on the end rail. So to combat that, you just go, well, I'm going to draw the crap out of it and draw it all the way back and have it rebound off the end rail and come down. And, certain situations that shot works. The one thing you got to watch out for is I've drawn the ball back up into one of the upper corner pockets. You got to understand how that ball's coming off the rack because you can scratch in the upper corners.
I forgot to mention, guys, touch wood, nothing's going to happen, but oh dear.
Whoa.
Oh dear. We've got a bit of a storm moving in tonight, Northern Ireland and southern Scotland. Needless to say, I'm in southern Scotland. We're forecast to get hit, so.
You mean it's normal weather?
Yeah, well, we've had a bit of a batter in the last couple of weeks, and there's one moving in tonight. So if we get a power outage for any reason or other, just hang around. We'll hopefully get back up. Touch wood, nothing will happen. Well, Moz's visit ends only in 11, and like Albinario, they both ended on a scratch. And if Albinario just gets back into his rhythm again, it's bad news for Moz because he's going to be chasing his tail for quite a long way.
Boy, I don't like this. See, I don't understand this. Guys are trying to get like straight in on this 13 ball and draw it back. Make sure, it's a lot easier to make sure you have an angle and then go 2 rails around. Now he's got himself in a terrible spot. I mean, he should have just brought the ball out further and left himself a shot where he went 2 rails around the 7 because then you're rolling the cue ball out in a line where it can roll 3 feet and you're still on the 7.
Right, you're talking 2 rails behind the 7 as I'm looking at it. Right, yeah.
Yeah. Well, he tried to hold that ball and get straight, but my point is even if you're straight on that, it's not that easy a shot to draw it back and get good. I mean, just taking a natural line off 2 rails off the rail is much simpler.
Well, it still looked a pretty good outcome, although he's got to watch this cue ball again.
Yeah, see, that he got away with that one. I mean, it's safer to draw that back some because he if that 10 ball doesn't pop out or something, he could have got stuck. But he's good. I mean, I think the balls break a little better in virtual pool than real life. I think the racks maybe breaks up a little better. Well, it depends. I mean, if you're playing with real clean balls in a newer table, they'll break real good like this in real life too. But I've played a lot on tables where the balls are dirty or the table's not as good, and you got to be a lot more careful about getting stuck on the rack.
Well, that's the thing about getting a bit too straight. When you hear pigs talking about stunning into the pack, what you've got to remember is that the pack of balls has got a lot of weight in them. They've got a lot of weight behind each other, so it takes a fair bit to get them moving. And if you're straight and you just start stunning, it's going to be like a brick wall, and very often the cue ball just ends up stuck in a ball and you've no shot. Seen that good 2 or 3 times in the tournament.
The problem you run into is there's a couple different things. If the rack's really tight and you're hitting one ball, it's going to bounce off of it. But if the rack isn't quite as tight, there are some gaps in it, or maybe you hit in between balls, then the cue ball is not going to want to bounce off the same way, and you can end up getting stuck.
Mm.
I think he can shoot the 4 ball now if he wants to. I don't know if he's gonna, but that would be nice to get that out of there. Looks like he's gonna go for the 5 ball.
Yeah, I think you can get the 4. Yeah.
Yeah, nothing wrong with this. I mean, he's got a way. He can go 6, 9.
Now,
bump 6, 9, bump the 15, shoot the 13, come back and bump under the 3 ball 8. See, he got straight in on this, which I don't like because now he can't deal with the 4 and 15. If he could just get a little angle, he could have bumped that 15 out and just made things easier. And those kind of control bumps, if you watch Semi play, he does that a lot of little control bumps, and that's good. If you're bumping balls and you know where the cue ball and object ball are going, and it's a real little control thing, there's nothing wrong with doing that, and it's a benefit because it makes these little situations like this easier. Albin's working through it, and he's doing it nicely, but it could have been easier.
Now there's a bit of a dilemma here, Steve. Is he going to go the 8 ball as a break ball?
No, he's going to use the 2. He's going to use the 2, and the 8 ball sitting in a place where if he wants, he comes straight back up.
Yeah, straight up the middle of the pack.
Yeah, I mean, if it was a little more forward, he'd have to go forward in 2 rails, but where it is, he can go straight up. I'm going to disagree with Semi. I don't think his problem is focus.
Oh, dear.
Well, see, he tried to go forward. I think he was sitting real good, just go straight. He didn't need to do that. I don't, Well, there goes into what I was going to say, Semi. I think that's more the reason he doesn't get long runs is, he shot a shot that was a lot more difficult. He didn't need to shoot. I think it's just pattern choices. I think he plays good enough. He could get big runs. I just think he's pattern choices and how much straight pull he's played. If he keeps playing this game, I think he will get some huge runs.
Well, even that contribution was still more than what Moz made in his last visit, and Moz needs to pick it up.
Well, Moz doesn't understand straight pull as much. I mean, Moz understands how to play virtual pull pretty good, but there's the aspect of understanding this game. Well, you got the choice here of, he's going to take the foul. I don't like this. Now, there's nothing wrong with rolling it and trying to stick it on the rack, but taking a foul there is just a mistake. if this was me, I'd just be going right back up table. Of course, after I looked at the rack and make sure there were no dead balls, which I don't think there are. The 13 doesn't look on. Let's see what else we got.
That 4 ball's in the way.
Yeah, I'm not seeing.
And he can't see the 9 anyway, so there's nothing he can do there. He's stuck.
Well, even if he could see the 9, I don't think it goes. I'm just saying, you know, if you're going to roll this cue ball, he could roll this cue ball right up to the end rail and take a foul. And you just want to make sure there's no dead balls in the rack.
Yeah.
And that's a good play. I mean, you know, he's made the right play because Moz is on the foul first. So if it comes down to taking fouls, you know, Albin's going to win that.
Yeah, he's playing a shot to nothing here, but he has to.
You know what? This isn't a bad shot. I was kind of surprised Albin didn't push the ball to the other side of the table just because there's more available from this side. I mean, he had his choice. He could have just pushed it to the opposite side. I mean, this isn't a bad shot. I'd probably shoot at this in real life. It's with those balls close together, it's not as hard a combo as it looks like.
Well,
I mean, 13 and 10 are close.
Yeah, if he doesn't get it though, and depending on the pace he plays this at, he's going to bring the 10 ball around the corner.
Yeah, well, I mean,
and leave Albie in.
It was a shot that if you didn't make it, you're going to leave something. It always comes down to, okay, well, what should I do here? Should I play a safety? Should I take a foul? But, you know, you also got to consider, well, you know, if I play safe and I do this, well, what's Albin going to do the next time? And at some point, you know, you're going to have to shoot a difficult shot or you're going to have to shoot a difficult safe. And I'm not saying that was the right thing to do, but it was a reasonable thing to do. I don't think it was like a terrible choice.
Here we go. Back of the pack breakout.
Yeah, and this is a little tricky. I'd probably try to come out and hit about half the 15 ball, and so the cue ball went towards the 13 because that more guarantees a shot. I would not go straight into this rack because that's a little risky. Oh. Yeah, especially at that speed. See, that's what you didn't want to do. It's just
that 4 and 5 is.
I think he got lucky with the 4 or 5.
I think the 4 and 5. Look.
It's dead. Yeah, it's definitely dead.
No, see when you look at it that way, it's getting in off the jaw, I think.
You think it's going a little long? It's close. Yeah, I think you're right. It may be a little long.
You know, he'd have to just go all out for it.
The problem is he's on the wrong side of it. So if you want to shoot this shot, the way to shoot this is hit it at the 12 ball and try to rebound off the 12 into the 4 so you can get to the other side of the 4 ball. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because that way it'll throw it back into the pocket. And the only problem with that is that it's really kind of too thin on the 12 to shoot that. I don't think he can get enough of the 12 to get it back in the 4 the way he needs to.
Yeah, he's looking and looking and looking. He keeps coming back to look at it. He's probably just going to give a point away here. Yeah,
well, I mean, he may have had other options, but
I don't know what that option was, though.
Well, I mean, he's not looking at how the object ball is going to throw on that bank, you know, because the way the object ball was going to throw, it wasn't going to open up and go in the pocket.
Oh, I was too busy looking at the bank. Had he called the bank there? He must have called the bank to play that like that.
If you play one pocket a lot, you're going to find out that, you know, when balls are together, the way they throw and how it holds a bank, I mean, it really makes a huge difference.
He called the 2, according to Hairpig. I was too busy focusing on that combo.
The problem was that a 2 was going to get the wrong spin on it to open up and go.
Well, this would be a good time for Moz to settle in and finish this rack and get into the next one to get himself going. That would settle him down, putting something on the scoreboard. Well, that 13 ball that he's just ran to the corner of the bunch there is the perfect ball for breaking those out. And he could use the 5 to get to the 13. You'd need to just drop through.
Yeah, I mean, he's got a bunch of options here. He can play the 112 combo. I mean, if you're not used to playing that kind of combo, it probably doesn't look good, but it's actually not that hard if you're used to shooting them. You're used to understanding that angle. That's one thing, when the balls are close together, you know, the combinations get easier, you know, but you may have to practice them when they're at an angle to understand it. Well, I mean, this is all good. He needs to get to the 3-4. Obviously, he can go behind him and shoot him up table, which I think is not a bad idea the way they're sitting.
Well, he might do that now. He could drop down onto the. Is that the 10 at the bottom of the table?
It's the 12.
The 12.
Yeah, he could drop down, shoot the 12, and then shoot the 3 or 4 up table. When balls are sitting like that, that's not a bad choice because you don't have to try to move them. And he's getting an angle, and he's going to try to move it.
Yeah, I think he would have liked a little bit more weight in that just to be able to drop in behind him.
Yeah, there's a bunch of problems with this. For one thing, he can mess up his break ball. For another thing, if he doesn't hit this right, he could end up locked on a ball. I would have rather come down and actually shot one of those up table.
Well,
okay. Well, he shot it well. I mean, his big problem now is, you know, that 4 ball. I think he can deal with that here just by going forward and then shooting it in the other corner. And I think that's what he's looking at.
Yeah, because he's going to go into a spot where he'll have a choice, so he might as well play it. When he's okay, and gets rid of it.
Yeah, so this is all good now. I mean, he can shoot the 5 up table. All right, isn't he pretty straight? Yeah.
Yeah, you can just
stop this and shoot the 5 up table and roll up for the 3
Well,
ball.
he's played to get to the 4. Why is he looking at the 5? I thought he was thinking about the 5 on the side there for a second.
I don't know. Maybe he doesn't like the fact that if he stops it, he's going to have a little angle on the 4. I mean, if he doesn't like that, he should draw this back.
Well, that'll do.
He did a little stun run. Yeah, this is a little funny. Gee, you know, this is going to require some precision to get on that 3 ball in a way that makes it easy. I think he's probably going to try to roll forward and shoot it in the side.
Yeah, the trouble is the angle that he's got, Steve. He's running towards the 3. Yeah, so he's.
I mean,
yeah,
that's the problem with you trying to use this kind of ball to get on the ball is that you know, you can get funny and all of a sudden it gets difficult.
Yeah, he's past the middle pocket as well, so he's going to have to take this to the corner.
Yeah, he's going to shoot this with a little right English and bring it out. And, you know, you need to hit this firmer than most people realize to get the ball to come out the way you want. The tendency would be to underhit this.
Well, that looks good to me. He's going a bit straight, though. Oh,
he overhit a little, but that's fine.
Well, he's not got as much angle as he would like.
Well, this one you can just stun and hit it hard. See, he drew that one. I think that one you could have stunned.
Well, now what do?
You got more speed on it. Well,
dodgy 6 ball. And a quick look at the pack, though, see if there's anything there. I don't think there is.
Yeah, I mean, the 6 ball's probably going to be the shot. I mean, you can try to play safe here, but it's not that easy. I mean, you might be able to do something with the 13 ball and get safe. Try to shoot the 13, and I'm not sure where it would go.
Well, he'll take that.
The best option is just shoot it.
Yeah, he'll settle for that. As long as he's on another ball, that's all that matters.
Yeah, he's on this, and he's on it in a nice way. He can just run into that 10-2 there. He can come up with a shot on the 8 or 4. Get some ball spread. I mean, this is natural. Now, I don't know why he's drawing this.
He'll lose if he's trying to get into the bunch. He's trying to get into the bunch, yeah.
Yeah, well, see, that was a mistake because, you know, you risk the cue ball getting stuck, and, you know, he's...
He's going to have to dig out this 7 ball or cut that 15, and none of these are pretty.
Well, he's lucky he even had a shot. He had just a natural just to hit that with a little bit of top and roll right up into that 10-2. I didn't get doing what he did.
Well, he's going to hit the 10-2 now. A shot too late, but he's going to have to dig out the 7 though. And he's got to get. He can't hit this too hard. He's got to give it the chance for the pocket to take this. He can't be just giving it a bang.
It's always easier to play a shot where you let the cue ball go where it wants to instead of trying to force something.
That was 2 diamonds away from the pocket.
Yeah, well, I mean, that shot wasn't a guarantee.
So, Moz's run, again, just 15. It's just barely keeping him in touch.
Yeah, Moz is lucky Albin's not up a whole lot more. I mean, Albin's kind of doing what Albin's done in a lot of matches in the past where he's, gotten ahead and then not taken and stepped on his throat.
Yeah, he gets ahead and then he gets generous. So he does.
Yeah, because Moz is lucky to be where he is in this match right now. What Albin needs to do is pop off a big run here.
Just tweak your mouthpiece again, Steve. Just a tiny tad.
Okay, so what do you think he's going to use for a break ball, Hugh?
Well, they're still. I mean, if he was going to just pick them off, then he would leave the 3, wouldn't he, or the 15?
Yeah, well, it looks like he's shooting the 3.
If he's struggling, he could use the 10 at the corner of the pack. If he's really struggling, he could go on the 9 and cut one into the side and use that as a break ball. I mean, he has options here, depending on how this cue ball rolls.
Well, 10, 14, and 15 are all good. 15's a little. I don't like balls real close to the rack. I think it's harder to control the cue ball. But all 3 of those work. Yeah.
What's he done?
Do something there he needed to do something there to get rid of that situation. So he gave up the 14, but he still got the 10 and 15.
No. He's going to come. I mean, this is thin enough that he's just going to sneak out.
Yeah, I was welcome. He's got good cue ball speed. He's got some of the best cue ball speed I've seen on VP. I mean, his speed is really good. We're going to have to ask him what his mouse settings are. Yeah, I mean, this should be fine. Let's see what he decides to do here. What angle he gets on the 5. I mean, there's some angles that are going to be easier than others.
Well, there goes the break ball into the side. And that's that one out of the equation. Now he's going to go side rail back up for the 15.
Yeah.
No, he's drawing.
I don't like this getting straight in. It's just too easy to get funny. He ends up a long ways from the balls, and I mean, he needed to play angle on that 5 one way or another.
Yeah, he's just gone to the dangerous distance here, and also big blind cut.
Yeah, well, as long as you make it, get a shot, you're good. That rack spread out nicely. I mean, he's looking good. He's got the 4 ball's a good break ball. The 9 ball's a good break ball. The 13 ball will work. So it's always nice when you have multiple options for break balls because if you have to get rid of one, you're still okay.
Oh, did you hear me? I don't know whether you heard me mentioning before you. Well, you wouldn't have heard if you hadn't arrived. But Stubb got his high run of the tournament in his last match there.
What was it, 21?
It was, I think it was 60. Was it 60? He had a run of 60.
He got to 60. Well, that's good for him.
Well, that was mainly down to the fact Popman was semi-conscious for the whole of the match.
Yeah, but the thing is if Stubb can do 60, if he figured out how to play straight pull, he could do 400. I mean, because he really doesn't understand straight pull. So the fact that he can even get 60, not knowing how to play, is pretty good.
Yeah, it's always Stubb's way or not at all. Now, Albinario on 87, and it's another contribution of 17 and counting, and that's a pattern that quite a few matches have taken where, I mean, some matches have just been bits and pieces all the time, but the pattern already in this match is that Albinario's contributions are always adding up more than what Moz is getting, and that pattern has to change fairly quickly. Or this is just running away.
Albin's got an issue here he's going to have to deal with before too long. That 2-11-7. I like shooting a 3-ball here, especially because it opens up the 2 into the side pocket. I think he tried to roll up where he can get an angle, and he's got it. So this one, you just hit firm with top. He's going to go into the 2-ball and spread those. Yeah,
I don't like that, Steve. It's a bit too straight. He could skim off it. Well, he hit it thick.
Skim off it. You got to hit it firm.
Yeah, he did. He did hit it.
A little angle, it's going to go sideways. Albin has a good feel for where the cue ball's going, which is one of the reasons he plays well. So, he just cinched that ball, which in real life you would never do this, but in BP you can get away with it. Because you don't want this shot in real life. I don't care how good you play.
Now, is he sticking with the 4-ball?
Mic, Steve. Okay, that should be better.
Is he sticking with the 4-ball? He's getting rid of the 11.
Yeah, I'm sure he is. Yeah, I mean, the 4-ball is by far the best break ball here. Breaking off the 11's a little tricky because it's right in the center, so it's hard to get angle coming back into the rack. And if you don't have angle, it means you could stick the cue ball in it. All right, well, let's see what he decides to do here. Don't get so straight in, Albin. Okay, this is fine. See, now he's got a nice little... He can roll this with left English and let it open up, and, he just has to control the speed, which Albin does very well, and he'll probably come up with a pretty good shot.
Oh, he's way, way short.
Yeah, he came up a little short.
Yeah, he's just going to run for cover here. I don't believe he's ever going to take this on.
Boy, I'd be shooting this in real life. I'll tell you what, you give Dennis Okoye this shot in real life,
well,
I'd say he's going to make this at least 99 out of 100. I mean, it's amazing watching him cut balls.
Well, I'm going to say you shooting this in real life, Steve. You're
I'm not 99 out of 100. I'm probably on that kind of shot in real life. Maybe I'm at least 85 out of 100.
Oh, well, I'll be so sense.
Yeah, Albin's got more sense than me.
But again, it's the right thing to do. You've built up a healthy little lead. You don't want to be encouraging your opponent back into it by, sticking your head out and giving them chances just to bite his way back into this slowly but surely. Well, this is where, this is a perfect situation where these balls are getting nudged, and sooner or later something's going to go into play here.
Yeah, I mean, ideally you want to put him up table. I mean, he may not here because he may not like the angle. I mean, I don't, coming off that 2-ball and going up table, you're risking popping a ball out on the other side.
Yeah, as soon as
wise move there.
Yeah, as soon as you're behind the pack, that's where you want to get the cigarette paper and up the table. I've seen one good shot in the whole of this tournament to get to that bottom rail.
Yeah, I'd just be thinning this 1 ball and going up and trying to put it up on the end rail.
The only danger with that is
look at this. See, the thing is see the separation between the 10 and the 14 and the 1 and the 7?
Yeah.
That guarantees it right away. You're not going to hit it easy and have that 2-ball pop way out. I mean, because that kind of having ball separation, and you have a separation between the 5 and 2, that takes a lot of that energy away when you start having balls that are not right together.
Now, how's that 14 set? Because it's just popped out.
It's set real well. I'd be blasting at this.
Yeah, that's. He's not even looked at it.
He didn't even look at it. It's just amazing. That thing's just sitting there dead. All you got to do is hit it, and it's in. And it's still in for Moz here too.
Yeah.
I mean, he's going to have to play it off the rail. I'd probably play it 2 rails into it.
Is it
going to throw?
It's
not sitting quite as good. It moved a little. Yeah. He's not looking at it. No.
That's got to go in, Steve. That has got to go in. I mean, what?
Well, it's not sitting as good as it was before he just played that safe, but it's still sitting good.
Put it this way, I would already have played this shot.
Yeah. It's just,
I think the only one
just are not looking at the rack.
The only worry is the hit in the 1 ball. The problem is that you get it slightly wrong. You're probably scratching off it.
Oh no, you can't play it that way. You got to play that 2 rails into the 1. That's the thing. That's why I'm saying it's not sitting as good, because the way they're sitting, if you come from behind it, it's close to throwing out of the pocket. I don't think it will.
You talking about going
2 rails
two rails around the corner pocket?
Yeah.
He's looking at skimming the 1.
Yeah. I mean, it'll go that way, but it's just, you're risking scratching, especially because you got to hit that hard. All right, he's going to take a foul. I think he was trying to thin the 2. He ended up taking a foul.
Well, he's nudged to 14. I think he might have. It's hard to see with the cue ball in there, but it's going to probably change now. But I think it's even more dead set. That 12 is right on that 14 ball, and it's going to be the ball that Albinario is going to play off, unless he runs off the rail back into the pack.
Well, this is not the first time both these guys have done this match with a dead ball and never saw it.
Well, that's as dead as ever it's going to be. Look at it.
Yeah, that was one of those a blind nun that's never played pool is going to make.
I think Moz is using his donut at the moment. He's running around the pack looking at this combo, I think that's what he's doing.
It's still sitting really good.
And it's a much better angle now to hit the 1. The 1's a lot cleaner, and you can get the cue ball out of there. I don't know.
The biggest danger there is actually scratching in the top corner, not the bottom corner.
Well, that's gone now.
It's
okay. He's left Albie a shot in the 2, but Albie's just maybe punching the 2 up the table and locking the cue ball into the bunch here rather than playing the pot.
Yeah, well, the pot, there's no profit in that, in making 1 ball and not coming up with a shot.
He needs to call a safety because he doesn't want to pot the 2, doesn't he not? He's calling a safety.
If he's not going to shoot at it, he should be calling safety. The only problem with trying to hold it and go up table is it's a little tight getting that past the one ball. There's enough room, I think, but you got to be a little careful. He's going to go off the end rail, I think. Yeah, that's safer.
Well, Moz has got an easy safety here. Try and get it right in between the 12 and the 1.
He's got a shot here, too, if he wants it. I mean, he can shoot the one ball off the 7. I wouldn't shoot that just because it's just the angle into the side pocket is just a little too tight. But I'm sure that these guys aren't even looking at that kind of stuff. But that comes up a lot too. Little carom shots in the rack. And you know the way everybody is going to go and start trying these shots, and you're going to find out that they're a lot harder than they look, and then you're going to go, "Oh, this is a bad shot." But if you play like Honolulu or Filipino rotation or you play games where you start shooting those shots a lot, you're going to find that you're going to learn how to judge them better, and they're not as hard as you think they are.
Well, there's a mistake. Because if Moz can get around and on this 14, I'm sure he can see the 2.
All these guys are talking about Fargo rating.
No sound.
I've got a Fargo rating someplace that's something ridiculously low because I never play in BCA stuff.
Hello, guys.
Good evening, Semi.
Oh, is it Semi? Semi's here? Hey, Semi.
Yeah, not stopping long, so I won't be intruding. Just wanted to do a test to see how the sound is for you guys.
Sounds okay to me.
Yeah, you just sounded...
Did you do the Discord tune-up?
No. Yeah, I did. I did.
Okay.
Some tweaking.
Well, that sounds fine.
He didn't get around far enough for this 14, so he's trying to create something.
I'll leave you guys to it. Catch you later.
See you later.
Okay.
Now you can run.
This is that blast and go forward. It's going to hit the 4 ball and just come in and hit the 13 ball far enough on. There's a little chance of scratching the corner. But he hit it at a speed where he kind of took that out. That was a good shot.
Yeah, the only problem now is he's got a pressure pot because he's going to have to cut this 4 up the table.
12-7 combo, that's the other option.
Oh, that's nowhere near it. Oh.
I shooting a 15 ball. Yeah, that's a good shot. I like that shot because it opens up the rack.
Yeah, you don't need to blast it. You just got to play it.
No.
Wee bit of pocket weight, let it go in.
Yeah, you got to hit a little bit because the cue ball isn't going to move much off that 10 if you hit it real easy. You need to hit a little bit of speed, but not real hard. Yep, that's fine. Okay, he's off and running. Well, he's down 50. Let's see what he can do here.
Quick question again, guys. Is any of you guys still hearing as much echo as you were hearing previously on the stream? Is it good, bad, or worse than what it was?
Dave Hennessy. I play better than Dave Hennessy.
Haypeg says no echo. Potman says good.
But he's a good player, but I play better than he does.
Right, well, we're keeping the Discord settings at that then if it's worked. So that's all the effects that Discord has. That guy in the video on YouTube tells you just to switch them all off. So that's what I did.
The guys that play in that tournament that play better than me are Josh Roberts and BJ Ussery. I've never tried matching up.
What the hell are you doing with that headset, Steve?
I dropped it.
Well, I think the trick with a headset, Steve, is it stays in your head.
Yeah, well, Josh Roberts I'd put him in the top 5 in the country, certainly in one pocket, and I'd put him there and playing rotation games too. I mean, Josh Roberts is one hell of a player. Usuri doesn't play quite that speed.
Well, Moz has actually, now somebody who's paying more attention than I am to this match, has Moz actually got to the end of a rack and broke the next rack yet? I don't think he has he? Because this
That's
is
a good question.
this is what he needs to be doing, and he hasn't got there yet, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, Hairpig, I've heard people say that, but I'm not as high. I mean, I've watched BJ play a lot. Don't get me wrong; he's a really strong player, but I think he needs quite a bit of weight from a guy like Josh Roberts. I really do. I mean, for certainly playing one pocket, but I mean, I think playing a game like 9 or 10 ball too, he needs a fair amount of weight.
Well, we know the 4 ball goes clean past the 10, so there's no problem there. Plus, whatever one he picks, he's got a break ball there.
But I will tell you one thing about BJ is he gambles good. He's got a money stroke. He's got a stroke that's going to hold up. So if you gamble with him, if you gamble with that guy, you better be ready to bring it because he is not going to give it to you. He's got a really solid game. Yeah, he's one of the guys that, if he wants to gamble with me, I will. I'd ask for weight. And, I know what it's going to be like with him. I've seen him play enough. I know nothing's going to be easy.
Now, if he takes the 10, he's going to run into his 4 ball. Unless he can stun off it and try and get on the 3. I don't know whether he can and miss it.
I
think that's why he doesn't like it.
I think the play here is to bump the 10. Just stun off a little soft draw and bump the 10. You're going to come up with a shot on the 10 or 5 almost for sure. Unless
You talking about potting the 3 here, Steve?
Yeah. I'd pot the 3 and bump the 10 ball because he could shoot the 4 here too. I mean, nothing's wrong with shooting a 4. Go 4, 5, 10. You're going to have to hit this with a little bit of right English on the 4 ball to get over it. I mean, that's probably a better choice. Yeah. I mean, that's fine.
Well, it should be easy to go on the 10 ball here off this. Take the 5, then the 3, then on the 10.
He's got a little funny angle here on the 5 because you want to get pretty straight on this 3. This is where you can get in trouble if you don't get pretty straight. Okay, and he's fine. So he can just roll this at pocket speed and he's going to be perfect.
Ideally, he wants to just be a couple inches through. That'll do. Well, this is as good a position as he's been in so far. He just needs a good break, but he's stunned it.
Wow, who's the best money player I've ever seen? Well, the guy that's won the most money that I think was the best gambler was Jack Cooney. But I mean, nowadays there's a lot of guys that gamble good. I mean, just about any of the Filipinos. I mean, I don't know if Carlos Beato is, he's just playing. Well, let's put it this way. I was watching him play Ronnie O'Connell, giving Ronnie the 7. Now, Ronnie doesn't play as good as he used to, but, they're playing 10 ball, and he's giving Ronnie O'Connell the 7 and beating them. I've watched him give guys that are, good players. They're playing 10 ball, and he's spotting them like the 5 ball and the 8 ball. Just these huge spots. So I've watched Carlo play a lot, and I'd say he's one of the guys that nowadays who's really a good gambler. Josh Filler, that's another guy I would say that is a really good gambler. But there's a lot of guys. One pocket wise. Justin Hall. Josh Roberts, Tony Chohan. I mean, all those guys gamble good.
Oh, he's maybe going straight here. I don't think that's what he wanted.
The problem with the question of who tends to win the dollars is most of these guys are being backed, and the games aren't always the best games.
Why is he not taking the 5 here, Steve?
Uh,
Can he not get to that 5 ball?
Yeah, he can, and I think the 5 is a better choice. I don't know why he didn't shoot the 5.
And it's his only choice now.
He's lucky he came up with a shot playing that.
Yeah, he's running out of options here. He's going to be hard pushed to keep this going. I think he's going for the slam here to try and get lucky. No, what's he doing? Well, it looks as if he's spinning to the rail and coming around behind here. No, he's playing it soft. Well,
yeah, but hair pick Dennis Okoye, he's definitely. He asked me to play, and I told him no. One gave another guy about my speed the 7 ball, and 2 on the wire, raced the 9 playing 10 ball, and Dennis drilled him. I play a little better than that guy, but I wouldn't have played Dennis with that spot. All right. Well, I mean, he's not gonna. I don't know what he's gonna do because there's not a whole lot. I mean, the 4-12 combo after this, maybe. I'm not seeing a whole lot after this 14 ball. And the 4-12 combo looks to me like a suicide shot. So I think that was a smart play.
well, it's a run of 20. He's 34 behind. He's still in the game. Well,
Yeah,
you're always in the game technically if your opponent isn't over the line, but I mean,
Sure.
He's just got to keep in touch.
Yeah, well, anybody can start popping off big runs, and they're always in the game. I had a buddy that went to a straight pool tournament, and he was watching Mike Siegel, and I can't remember who he said he was playing, but the other guy broke. Pretty good break. Ball's on end rail. There's a ball that popped out. Mike Siegel gets down over it, gets back up, gets down over it, gets back up. Does this for about, minute and a half, gets up and down about 4 or 5 times. Finally fires it in the pocket and runs 150 and out. So his opponent got one shot. It was a break shot. I'd love to see somebody do that on Virtual Pool 4.
Well, Moz hasn't called anything. Albie's just sacrificed a point.
Yeah, well, I think in this situation, that's not a bad play what he just did.
So both of them on 1 foul.
Yeah, I'd probably run this into the 12 easy and stick it on the 4, and probably not hard enough to get a ball to the rail, but it's going to pop more things out and give him more options because he's got another foul left. I would run into this 12 easy. Hard enough to potentially get a ball to the rail, but you got to do it in a way that you kind of stick the cue ball on the 4 ball. See, this is no good.
I don't know what that was.
It was my shot. You might have got a foul, but even with the foul, you still got one more, and it's going to pop balls out where maybe it makes it hard on Moz to play a shot where you're not going to have an out. Instead, he tried something that wasn't that easy and ended up selling out.
Well, we'll see how much punishment he's going to take from this, Steve.
Exactly what I was going to say. That's the big question: is Moz going to take advantage of this?
Yeah, there's immediate work to be done here. I think he can get on the 3 though. The 3 goes, If he can get top side, he can clear all of that problem up straight away.
Yeah, we're certainly sitting in a good spot to do it right now.
You pot that 9, get up the table, somewhere up at the middle pocket, or just past it, and you can smack that 3 in, and you've dealt with the problem.
Yeah, he's got most of the pocket. He's got over 3/4 of a pocket there. I mean, it's sitting where, you want to get pretty good on it, though, because you don't want to leave yourself funny with that 11 ball blocking part of the pocket. He could come back into it right here, too. I mean, he's got the 11 sitting there. I'd probably come back into it. Well, he wanted to hit it more. Yeah, he got the edge of the ball. He wanted to hit it more solid than that, but it still did its function.
Well, drop through on the 3, take the 2 into the side, take care of the issue.
But I think that was a good choice instead of playing on the 3 there, because it was available, and he had if that 11 ball wasn't there, then it would have not been good. But with 11 ball there, it gave him an out shot.
He wanted. Is he on the 15? Yeah.
This is perfect, because he can bump the 4. He needs to get it away from the 12, and then use the 12 as a break ball. So this is just kind of roll this at pocket speed, bump the 4 out enough that it's past the 12. And he's got the 11 next shot. Hopefully he's not going to hit this hard. See, I would never hit it that hard, but just because I would have wanted to make sure I had a shot on the 11, but I think he's okay.
He's got a bit of a problem here. The problem is the pot's not really comfortable.
Yeah. See, what he could have done there is just rolled that and bumped the 4, left the shot on the 11, and got the 4 out past the 12. But, he drove the 4 all the way to the side rail.
Yeah, he's going to have to play the combo, I think. I mean, you can cut the 4 into the side, but the problem with that is he's running away.
I'd be shooting the 4 in the side for sure. I mean, you just got to draw it. You got to draw it. You got to decide how you want to hit it, He's going to play the combo. If he's comfortable with it, there's nothing wrong with this. I mean, that 11 ball's sitting good. The only problem with it is he's screwing up his break ball. He doesn't have a break ball if he shoots this.
Yeah.
I would be shooting the 4 because I wouldn't want to mess up the 4 is not that tough.
Depends how hard he plays this, because that 12 ball can come back up the left-hand side.
You shoot that 4 and drop back in the long rail with a little bit of left English and come right back table for the 2 or the 12. Now he's going to have to figure out how to get a break ball, and he could end up ending his run here. So, I mean, you end up cinching it to make sure that you don't screw up, but then you don't have a break ball and you end up cutting your run off.
Well, he could end up just finishing in the pack.
Yeah.
I mean, if he takes a 2 ball as the last ball, well, mind you that
he could go 2-12 and try to put the cue ball in the pack and try to break with the 4.
Yeah. He could be going for a side pocket break here. Mind you, he's going to have to get really good in the 4.
That's 4 balls. Trying to get on that 4 ball and get a side pocket break, and that's not really any good.
I don't know what he's doing here.
Because it's hard to get the ball into far enough down into the corner to go 2 rail into the rack if you do that. He's going to try to get above it and play it. He's going to have too much angle.
Yeah.
Well, the shot here is going off the other long rail, and there's a good chance you're going to get stuck in the rack if you do that.
Well, why don't you cut this 4, Steve, with top right English, stun it to the side rail around the angles and come into the back of the pack and scratch? How about that?
Well, that's not a bad play.
That'll do it.
4 ball in the spot where he's okay. So now we're going to do this little ticky thing. The thing about this little ticky thing is it devolves quickly, especially at the back of the rack, and there's no guarantee that Moz isn't going to be the one that ends up screwed here. So when you start this sort of thing, it doesn't mean it's going to end well for you.
Yeah, his run was 8. And the one is there for a breakout shot. But they're going to be hiding behind this pack here unless Albinario gets right down onto the bottom rail. He's a bit too heavy.
Boy, that was a nice shot.
It's good enough though, because again, this is what I love about this game. Get the distance when the pack's like this, and it makes it far, far more difficult to get the right touch on the pack.
It sure does.
So easy to nudge something. I mean, there you go. I mean, there's the 13 out. Now, how brave's Albinario? How brave is he?
If you're going to shoot this, you got to hit this with a lot of topspin because you need to try to drive through the rack. If you try to hit this easy, there's a good chance you're getting stuck. You need to crank this. Okay. He played he didn't hit it that hard, but he got it to bounce off the ball. Hopefully he saw that. I didn't see it doing that, but maybe Albin saw that because that was actually well played. I mean, it's better to hit it at that speed than crank it like I was saying if it's going to work because the pocket gets a lot smaller at high speed.
Now, Steve, just come back onto what you mentioned here about playing the tippy tappy off the pack there. Am I right in saying that Moz started that situation?
Yeah, Moz started it, and that's what I was saying. Is you don't have to come out the winner when you start it.
And Albinario all Albinario ended up doing was playing a good thin safety down to the short rail. Okay, it wasn't nailed to the rail, but it's still good enough. And Moz played one shot and got it wrong.
Yeah. Now, in one pocket, when you do that, when there's just a couple balls together and you start doing that, it's a lot more predictable when you start who's going to come out on top. But sometimes it's still the right play to do it, even when the prediction isn't you, because you're just looking for something better than what you got. Even if it sucks, it's better than, what you got on the next shot. And this thing with the ticky, it's a little harder to predict because you got all those balls in the rack. It's hard to say who's going to end up winning that ticky battle.
Look at the cue ball. I think he's on the 8.
Yeah, he's on the 8. He's and this happens in straight pool where you just come up on a ball like this. It's sitting good. In VP, there's a little advantage because it's easy to go forward with this. In real life, you're not going forward with this shot.
Well, Albinario is about to get to 3 figures after, an hour and, 90 minutes play. So if we keep up this average, we'll be here for another hour and a half.
Yeah, it's been a slow match. I mean, but part of playing straight pull is playing enough that you get to the point you can play in the rhythm and you don't have to think a lot. And Albin would probably be a really strong player if he played a lot because he's got all the components. He just needs to get to the point where he doesn't have to think so much. And when you do that, then you end up playing even better because you kind of get in the rhythm, and that's how you get really high runs.
Now, can you
stopping and thinking is no good?
Can you not take the 9 and draw into that 11-15? Because I don't like it as a combo.
You can, but I don't like drawing into that because it's real easy to get behind the 15 and leave yourself stuck. If you are going to shoot the 9, you want to make sure you hit the end rail and then come up and get the 11 ball because then you're going to come up with a shot. You can't afford to get back into the 15 if you do this. Like that. See, that was the wrong thing to do. I mean, you could just see it coming. I mean, I think he's lucky he has a shot on the 11 ball. It was just
6 ball or the 11.
But see where that comes from. The reason I see that and he doesn't is because I've played games like this enough that I recognize the situation. Because after you screw it up, 30 times, and you start going, you know what?
It starts to sink in.
Don't do that. And he just hasn't done it enough. I mean, it was obvious to me right off the bat that he needed to bump the 11 ball or he could get in trouble.
Yeah, that's called learning from your mistakes.
Well, that's why you want to gamble, because there's a story about Steve MOZUK08 being in Japan, and this is when the pool was becoming popular, and well, actually, it was before that. And anyhow, the Japanese press was interviewing him, and one of the reporters said, we noticed that you American players like to play safe. The Japanese players, they don't like to do that. They don't play safe much. And the reporter says, why is that? And so Steve says to him, well, let me ask you a question. He says, do these Japanese players gamble? And the reporter says, not that I know of. And MOZUK08 says, well, when they start gambling, they'll start playing safe.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the thing, is when you're gambling and you make mistakes, it's not going to take 30 times to do it. It's going to take about 4 or 5 times before you go, I'm not doing that again.
Yeah.
And I think...
Is that when you're looking at your empty wallet at the same time, Steve?
Well, when there's pain involved, you're going to remember it a lot better. If you think back at your life at some of the painful memories, those are, you remember that. And I don't know how it is for everybody, but for me, yeah, I feel some pain when my wallet's empty.
Well,
Miz in the Miller Lite. Well, that's what he's most famous for as far as the general public. Well, let's see what he does here. I mean, the 14 ball is a good break ball from the side. And, boy, I think if he can roll forward and get on this 2 in a spot, he can roll forward for the 14. That's the play. This is not sitting great. I mean, trying to get on that 14 is a little tricky, but I think that's the shot you want. And he's looking at shooting this 14. I'd be looking at making it a break ball. I'd shoot the 6, roll forward, try to get pretty straight on the 2, and then try to roll forward for that 14 here.
Well, he's got loads of left on this to come away from the 2 into the table.
Yeah, the problem with this is he's shooting his best break ball by far. I mean, the other ones are not so wonderful. Can you break off the 6 ball? Yes. But you can also scratch off the 6 ball. If you're going to break off the 6 ball, he's got a spot here. He can roll forward and get an angle on the 6 and get into the rack. If he gets the right angle, he can maybe get into the top part of the rack, which is what you want. You don't want to come off the side of the rack with that 6.
Trying to get to the donut.
He got 2 straight in.
He's going to have to jack up, I think.
Yeah, he's going to hit the rack, but he could get stuck. He's not going to have a lot of speed. Well, it came out of there good. It didn't stick on it, so.
Yeah, on he goes.
Yeah. I was saying Albin, he works through where he gets it something and he makes something happen, but he's doing things the harder way. I mean, when he figures out how to do it the easier way, he's going to really pop some big runs off. Because the harder way is more likely to fail.
Ten ball's going to do some damage.
Yeah, this is a little funny, though, because it's going to want to miss the 7, 15 and just hit the 3.
Which is basically what he did.
Yeah, you're just not going to move a lot of balls. I mean, if you know it's going to do that and you play for it, I mean, it's all fine. It's just he wasn't going to make a lot of progress in clearing up his problems there.
I'm surprised he didn't stun that a bit harder then.
Well, I mean, if you can get rid of the 15 and you can get rid of the 7, then the 1 ball goes, and the 1 ball's sitting in a good place to shoot that and then spread those other balls out and leave a break ball. He can't go 15 to 7 here very easily, unfortunately.
Well, I think Moz has been let off the hook there a bit.
Oh, he got left way off the hook.
I mean, Moz has got to make the most of this. It's imperative that somehow or other he gets to the end of this rack.
Yeah. Well, I mean, The problem Moz has is that his execution isn't quite as good as Albinario's, and his straight pull knowledge seems to be less. So he's kind of got the double whammy going against him in this match. That said, he's still got a chance if he can get something rolling, and he needs to run some balls and get closer.
Yeah, I mean, it only needs Moz to get rolling once, and he's right back in the game. Now would be the right time to do it. And these balls are all open pretty nice, as long as he can pick them off. Because
it's tough. It's tough, because I'll tell you this right now. These guys listen to the stream and stuff, and let's listen to Steve and do this. The problem is when you actually get up and play, and you have all those thoughts in your head, it's hard to play. You need to have those thoughts in your head and go practice and get to the point where you're doing the right things more automatically, where you're not thinking about it, because you just cannot play this game thinking a lot. It'll just drive you batty. And I think Semi will agree with that. I mean, he's gotten to the point where he's played enough that his patterns are good, and it's enabled him to make some real high runs. Moz is just thinking too much. I mean, you can just tell by the pace he's playing. He's think.
He's just trying desperate not to make a mistake.
Yeah, which is, but
I mean, the table's not great, but he's got the 8 ball as a bailout. He's got the 3 ball as a bailout at the moment, so he's got good opportunities to improve this situation here and take a wee bit of a risk, because these balls are not ideal.
I think he'd be better off at this point, trying to play in a little more of a rhythm and accept the fact that he's going to do some dumb things, because he's going to do some things wrong even thinking about it. So, I mean, he might as well just try to play in a little better rhythm and get something going.
Well, he might end up taking this 8 ball and just trying to get in amongst these. Oh no, he's playing a combo.
So. He's got all kinds of stuff. He's going to shoot the 9-8, and then he could go 13 up table. He could shoot the 1 or 4-0. See what he does here. I think he's going to draw this back a little.
Well, he's got the 4 ball. He's working around now, or he could be still working around the 14 or the 11. He's still got these choices.
Yeah, he's kind of straight in on this, because you don't want to miss the pocket too much with that 9 ball, because you don't want it coming back in and screwing your break ball up. He's going to just roll it and shoot the 9 next, which isn't a bad choice. I mean,
well, the thing is, if he shot the 9 next, he has to get good on this next ball, and
he'd be better off at this point shooting the 13 next, because he's rolled up on it pretty good. That 9 ball getting shape from it is a little tricky. You got to do something. All right, so now he's going to shoot the 11. I think he's going to draw back a little for the 1. I mean, he could leave the 4 for last, but I like the 14 way better. It's just a lot easier to control the. It's a lot easier to control the cue ball when you got a little more space between the object ball and the rack. I'm not sure what he's thinking about here. I mean, I think the 11's a shot. You could shoot the 14 if you wanted to. I mean, I think he's going to shoot the 14 just because it's easier to get position.
Well, you'd be the best person to answer that question, Bedhead. The question you've just asked. I mean, I think if you talk about looking at these tournaments, these big tournaments, and this is just my opinion, you've got the same guys who are getting to the business end of the tournament each time. You've got the other guys who are doing the same things wrong all the time. So there's something, there's a missing link where the guys that are in the field making up the numbers aren't doing an awful lot to help themselves. They're either not watching and learning, and it's the same guys that are always going to pull through in the end.
I can answer that question. I mean, what I see is guys play and guys get better execution, and the best players are the ones that execute the best. But what I don't see as much is guys actually getting better at pool. And I will say that the guy that I've seen really improve in pool is semi-pro. And it's because he practices a lot. He's gotten way better at snooker, too. And, he's learned to play patterns and do things in a way where he's getting these 147s and he's getting high straight
Cue
pool
ball.
runs. Watch out. Oh, boy. Yeah, just too much draw there. But semi-pro is the exception rather than the rule. And this game was actually designed so that players would learn how to move the cue ball well and learn how to do things that in real life takes a hell of a pull stroke and takes, such physical skill and practice. I thought that we'd have a lot of people that would be capable of doing things like high runs and straight pull, but it seems that the subtleties of these games are elusive for most of the players, and I'm not sure why. I think the guy you should ask is, you guys are on here all the time with Semi. I would ask Semi, what do I need to do to get better at playing straight pool or snooker? Because he's been able to do it. He didn't start out running 271s. And I just think that most players aren't taking the right approach. Now, that said, I have seen guys like Albin and Bedhead and, some of these guys that are top players get better. I think there's just still a lot of room for improvement. Semi, you came back just at the wrong time because I just got done singing your praises.
Well, I think the top guys have probably enjoyed the challenge of this game. They're now willing to admit that it isn't as easy as it looks, just potting balls. It's it has to be done the right way. You have to get that cue ball on the spot at critical times, and you've got to work things out in your head. So you've got to be, the thinking processes are working all the time. Not quite as much as they are in 9-ball, but these guys are, 9-ball's just a natural thing for most of them all the year round. But when it comes to this tournament, this is where you then have to start using everything upstairs and what you've learned in the game and adapt it to this game. And those that do and do it better are the ones that are more successful. I'm just disappointed in the standard of the rest of the guys. The standard of the rest of the guys is, well, I see it as I see it, pretty crap, to be honest with you.
Well, a lot of it's from where they came from. If you just, are a 9-ball player and that's what you play is just 9-ball, you're missing a large amount of pool skills. If you were going to play one game only and then go play something else, this is probably the best game. If you can play straight pool good, you're going to play any other pool game pretty good.
Yeah.
But, you can be a pretty good 9-ball player and not be very good at straight pool or one pocket or, because 9-ball is very one-dimensional.
Well, here's a...
He didn't hit that hard
enough.
If he got away with it. That was one you needed to hit a little harder.
Yeah, he's okay.
The ball's going to slow down a lot. Yeah, he's all right.
Well, if he could just stop that cue ball there, he's on the 2 to get rid of it. Because the 2 goes.
That's why I put in Filipino rotation, because it's a great game. And if you learn to play that, I'll tell you what, if you play a good Filipino rotation, you're going to be a dominant player in any pool game on VP. Because it is a really hard game to play well.
Right.
But
So
you know, the problem is like I got a comment from one player. I put it in, and he goes, "Is this a separate game from rotation? Is this a different game?" And I said, "Yeah, this game's a lot different." And he came back and he said, "Well, it's just rotation, but the differences in the rules make it not even." Let's put it this way: 10 ball is way closer to 9 ball than normal rotation USA rules is to Filipino rotation. I mean, they're much different, but it's guys take a casual look at it and they don't realize the impact of the rules, what it does as far as making the game different, the strategy and how you play it. And that's really the part that I think most of the VP players are missing is the strategy, how you play it, the pattern play, the choices, when to play safe, when to do this. It's those details that the VP players need to improve on, not the pocketing balls and moving the cue ball. Yeah, he almost missed that, huh?
Well, here we go, moving the cue ball again to get on this 8.
This is pretty easy. It's rolling a little across the angle, but not that much where it's going to be a problem.
The pace is good.
Yeah. Because really all that is bring it in the center of the table. I'll tell you this about pool. If you want any good advice for playing pool, especially a game like 9 ball or 8 ball, if you can just put the cue ball back into the center of the table every time, and about 90% of the situations, the center of the table is a good place to put the cue ball. And the reason I say that is if you get used to that shot and you understand how to move the cue ball into the center of the table, then it's really a pretty easy shot.
Well, he's on the 2.
Yeah, this is kind of a crappy thing though, because it's going to move into the 3 ball. I mean, he can move some balls, but it's the 2 ball is not going to move a lot of balls. I mean, I think he did the right thing there by hitting it hard because he managed to get it open reasonably. That was the right way to play it.
I think it's time to give Moz some advice here.
Now remember, when things look bad, and it looks like you're not gonna make it, then you gotta get mean. I mean plumb mad dog mean.
Well, there's 50 in it and counting.
Well, see if Albin can pop off a big run here. I mean, I think he's got a good rack here. He's got at least one break ball. I mean, the 14's sitting pretty good. He could use the 4. Let's see what he decides to do here. That's a good choice. Running up into those balls was just going to cause trouble. I think he's going to draw this over and shoot the 11 ball. That's what I'd be looking at doing. I wouldn't run into that 9 and 11 because that's asking for trouble. I draw it over. If you end up bumping the 7, you're probably still going to be okay.
It looks as if he's babying this.
Yeah, he's bumping balls. I didn't like that play because it was potentially something bad could have happened there. It worked out for him.
Right, I'll be back in a second, guys. I'm going to put the heating off before I boil.
Yeah, next thing you know, you're going to be giving lessons. If I was one of these guys, I'd be asking for one. You can just charge them, Charge them a couple $100 V for a lesson. I certainly pay that. I haven't had to pay for pool lessons because I got so many friends that are champions, but I've paid for enough golf lessons. That's been a waste of money. My golf game still stinks.
All right, I'm sneaking in while Hugh's missing.
Hey, how you doing?
How you doing, Steve?
Good.
You're too late. I'm already back.
Ah, dang.
Good evening.
Well, evening.
All right. Well, I got a call from the wife. I got to take.
How's
What
that?
timing then?
Oh, 14 sitting dead on.
Yeah, the 14's good. The 15 is a touchy key ball, though. If you get the right angle, it's not tough, but if you get the wrong one, it gets real rough.
A little stun off this rail.
Might be a little flat.
It's almost there. Could have done with being just a wee bit further to the right, just to reduce this blind pocket angle.
Oh, Cobra wants lessons. I'll give you lessons, Cobra.
My replay's working perfectly. Oh, it's Cobra there. I've got no complaints from Cobra in that replay. So the run from Albie's 31, and the gap gets even wider.
Yeah, he's got the perfect angle to open these balls with the 11.
Oh, he's stuck.
The 8's in good break ball position.
Yeah, he's okay.
Yeah, 6 on the side looks pretty good.
Problems just a 1 and 5 to be dealt with.
Yep.
Which he might be able to deal with now.
He might.
Well, put it this way, he's going to, because you never might get another chance to do it.
Yeah, that went nicely, hitting mostly the 1. If he hit more between the 5 and 1, he could have tied up the 1 and 3, but did not end up being a problem. He wants the 4 out of the way soon enough that he has time to get around to the 13.
Hey guys, how about this pace of play?
Is it a little better, Steve?
The pace of play?
Yeah.
I don't think so. I think this is a abysmally slow match.
No, I mean, for the match as a whole, yeah. Albie seems to be slowly getting more and more rolling.
How does Hairpig sound in the stream? Because he sounds perfectly okay to me.
Yeah, he sounds great to me. Well, he's got that 8 ball sitting good, and the question is how he's going to actually get to it. And
save the 15, maybe.
Well, I mean, it's the 2 balls before it, so I like leaving the 13 ball because that's the ball to get on the 15.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too. The 4 would have been even better, but he had to play it first.
Yeah, he had to shoot it.
Yeah. And
Albin, Albin shooting the right ball. I mean, Albin does a lot of good stuff. He just needs to play more because, you know, he obviously made the decision that he wanted to use the 13 to get on the 15 because otherwise he would have just sat the 13 there. It was easier.
Yeah, he certainly knows about the golden triangle idea with key ball and key 2 ball.
What was Albie's high run there? Was it 51 earlier in the match?
It was a 54, I think, officially.
Was
it was
it?
55, but then on the
And
56,
then the
the ball he
scratch.
scratched.
Yeah.
And I've noticed in VP4, it counts the scratch against the previous run instead of...
Yeah, it takes it off before it
Whereas in real, like Jason Shaw's 714, he scratched on ball 715. They didn't deduct him back to 713 for that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, are you trying to say VP4's wrong again here, Pig?
Only by 1 ball if it ends on a scratch.
Oh, Steve needs to get that fixed then. That's no good.
Yeah, that's another thing for the list. Well, he can go 1-3, and then he can use that 13 to get up into the balls if he wants. I don't know if that's great. You certainly don't want to go in that pocket where that 10 ball is because you get stuck. You could use the 9-2, which might be a little better.
Yeah, I think
looking at ways you can get this split up. I mean, I was looking for ways that are easy where you don't get stuck because I've gotten stuck in the rack so many times.
You also sometimes, I find, if you have some open balls around the rack, sometimes it pays to play them first so that you don't cluster them back up by opening the central balls.
Old timers would. I mean, old timers definitely did that more. They were all playing on, you know, different equipment, bigger pockets, slower table. I think that's still good advice. Although the nowadays people don't do that as much. Back in the day, those old timers that, you know, with the thick cloth and stuff, they would get rid of a lot of those balls around the outside first.
Coming to Vince's defence, he signed up, but I think I heard him. I think I saw him. I think I went into the room. Did I go into a room and ask him something? And I think he said he's unlikely he would have time to play anyway. So I think it's more a time issue for Vince's and finding a spot to actually get matches played.
Boy, he got really screwed on this. I mean, he needed to pull back a little further or be a little less. He's in exactly the wrong spot. I'd be tempted to shoot the 9 ball here. He's not gonna. He's gonna try to pull back for it.
Well, if he draws into the 5, he'll still be on the 9 with an easier angle.
Yeah. Well, the biggest issue here is I don't think drawing it's a good idea. And he's not going to move a lot of balls here. I mean,
yeah, the 12's going to take the biggest hit, is it not?
Yeah,
yeah.
But I mean, I think he has to shoot this, and he has to hit it with top and go through. I'd be hitting this with top left because you want to open it up and get the cue ball to go up to the middle of the table because you've got, you know, the 5 ball there for sure.
He's examining all his options, though. He's taken the extra time to figure out the right way to do it, like Hugh was complaining that too few players are doing.
Yeah, but I think, you know, this is pretty obvious. I think the problem with this much thought is you just take yourself out of rhythm.
That's what I do. That's my game.
He's not putting left English on this, which is a mistake. It still may work, but you definitely should put left English on this.
In order to spin into the open off this side rail, you mean?
Yeah, just to help it get up and out.
Well, he might be lucky he's on the 11 if the 11 squeezes past.
Yeah, the 11
does
goes.
it? It's like frozen to the 15.
Maybe it doesn't.
Very tight.
It's really tight. It's hard to see it.
It's one of those shots where you're going to cut it into the 15 probably before you actually get the pot. You know, that's not good.
I mean, he needed to hit that.
Might be barely blocking the pocket.
No, but you called it right, Steve, because if he had the English on it, you spoke about the cue ball would have fizzed up the table, he'd have known the 6 or 5.
He needed to hit that harder, and he needed to put some English on it. I mean, just guaranteeing you're going to get a shot out of it.
Yeah.
And
Run ends in
you know,
49.
really, Albin has, you know, that was a little unusual for Albin because all day he's been hitting the balls where he's going into the rack at the right speed and playing them well, and that was a little bit unusual for him. That was the first time I've seen him really not hit it right.
Stubbs going to fire missiles and poutine at me. I'm a little intimidated by the poutine.
Yeah, that's a big scaremongering carry on that's going on there. The bloody American politicians saying, "Oh, we're ready. They're ready to go." That's the biggest load of bullshit I've heard yet. Talking about a war.
He showed up in the room. Is he going to talk shit?
He hasn't shown up in the room, has he?
Yeah, there he is. He's in the chat, and he's gone again.
Oh, I've got the chat moved up. That's why I can't see him.
Yep.
Because I started my little clock, use my arrow button, so that's moved the chat up, so I miss everything.
Steve, what do you think about implementing a rule for like tournament matches where spectators can't chat?
Well, it's already there, but that's a mute button that everybody can use. You can mute anybody that comes into the room.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't see it as being a huge issue. But
yeah, I guess Stubbs really the only one who abuses it.
Am I right in saying though that? Oh dear.
Oh.
Well, that's Moz's last chance going there.
Boy, that was yeah. At that speed, it wasn't going in or it hit the pocket.
Am I right in saying that if I was, let's say I was Albinario in this room right now, and I muted Stubb, and Stubb left the room and come back in, would Stubb be still muted, or would I have to mute him again? Because I'd be fed up doing that.
I think he'd still be muted. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, muting it isn't for a room. Okay, he did the right thing there. He needed to get down and try to shoot the 7 or get behind those balls. He's all good.
Well, Albie's 40 away, so it's just a matter of time.
These balls aren't sitting great to be key ball, but
he's probably going to go 7, 11, 10. And, you know, I think this is a situation where they're sitting where being more straight in on the 10 and drawing back might not be a bad play. You know, usually I'm like go 2 rails, but the closer that object ball where the 15 is gets to the side rail, the harder it is to do the 2 railer. So, of course, the one time when I'm saying the 2 rail is not as good is what he gets up with. No, this is okay. I don't
think he wanted this much angle.
You just got to make sure he should hit this with a touch of left, maybe. You just got to make sure you come out shallow so you don't get straight on that 15. Ooh. And he's shallow enough. That's good.
He controlled the cue ball well. He used all the pocket on the 10.
So this is actually a real good angle. And, you know, with the 15 this far, it's easy to control.
He still stuns. I don't like going into the side of the rack with stun practically ever.
I don't either. I would have hit that with a little draw, but not a lot because, you know, you just need to make a little angle coming into it. And with the object ball that far from the rack, it's easy to make that angle. That's why I like object balls a little further from the rack, because when they're close, you can't get any angle because the ball doesn't get a chance to curve.
Yeah, when they're close, you're going to get what you're going to get. You can't really change it.
I'd be shooting a 4 ball here, not taking the 6 as a possible break.
Well, now he's going to combo the 4.
Yeah, problem there is he has no break balls now. He's going to have to manufacture one.
Well, he's got the 10 if he needs it.
Yeah, I think the 10's kind of low to break.
Yeah, that's a bit tight.
Kind of high. I mean, it's close to the rack, and that's one of those ones where if the rack comes out in the right spot, it might be hard to avoid a scratch. I mean, even if you can shoot it, I just, you know, a ball that close to the rack is I don't know how to say it. How about Danger Will Robinson?
Yeah. Well, he is shooting it now anyway, so won't be that.
Yeah,
long.
he's going to have to make one, and there's still time to do that. This is not the time to try it because he needs to make sure he comes up with a shot. You can shoot the 9-ball, but you don't want to try like bumping the 1 here because you could end up with. You could. Maybe he's gonna.
Well,
Yep,
what?
he did.
And he did.
Okay, yeah, he had the 11 there. That was okay. I was looking at those other ones going, that's no good, but he still had the 11.
That'll do
And
it.
that was really well played. That's what you need to do in straight pull is make break balls.
Hmm.
I just wouldn't have got rid of the 6 just because he put himself in a position where he had to make it, and he already had one before.
Angle's perfect just to pick this one of these off.
Oh yeah, he's sitting good here. I mean, and the 3-ball's sitting in a good spot to get on that 1 because you can be a lot of different places on that 3-ball and still get on the 1.
He got a little more angle than he wanted on the 7, though. He doesn't want to push the 8 toward the 1.
Yeah, it has to be a soft draw. This is a little touchy. This is where you want to get a really low on the cue ball because you want that cue ball to react as quick as you can.
Yeah, no more speed than necessary.
He could also go forward and bump it if he understands the control. He hit that well. He didn't even hit the 8-ball.
Perfect.
And this, you just want to try to get fairly straight on the 3. A little one way or the other isn't going to hurt you. I mean, ideally, I think it's better where you can come off the long rail after hitting a 3, hit it with a little inside English, like come up touch short and a little right English. I think that's the easiest shot.
Yeah, if he got too much at the other angle is when it would be really disastrous.
And he came
This
up
is a
too
little
short.
much, though.
This is not what you want. I mean,
A wee bit more fizz required there.
well, this is a tricky shot because the 3-railer's not going to come onto the line you want. You're going to be too straight in. I mean,
He has to get deep into the corner on the 2nd and 3rd rail in order to get on the right line.
He just made this tough. He's going to have to overcut this thin into the right side of the pocket, or
And
you got
flirt with
to,
scratching cross corner.
or you got to hit this with some draw inside and go 2 rails and out, which is a little bit tricky shot where it's the way it's sitting.
Yeah, the inside's very tough.
He's
to judge.
actually going to shoot the 1-ball here, which may not be a terrible decision because he just needs to go. He needs to get up high enough.
He's got the angle.
So the key on this is you want to hit this with a lot of draw and make it curve back into the rack, and you need to hit this pretty hard. That curve back into the rack keeps you from scratching, and hitting it hard gives you some separation.
Has he got a
Really
shot?
hit it hard.
Has he got a shot?
I don't know. I would have hit it harder than that. I mean, that was like kind of bare minimum. And honestly, I think it's a little unlucky he didn't come up with a shot at
I
that
might
speed.
play the combo
Oh,
because it's going to be awfully hard to get safe
I think he's
with
got
balls
to.
spread like this.
Yeah, I think he's got to play the combo. I don't think I don't see anything good.
Bank's not there on the 13. Cross corner on the 14, I guess, is there.
Yeah. And the combo is a little tricky because it's one of those back cut zigzag numbers.
well, why not just try and hide behind the 6 off the 13? He's got a huge lead. He doesn't want to do anything stupid.
You could try it. It's just, it's hard to get there. I mean, you give up the 2-ball, the 8-ball, the 9-ball. I mean, there's a lot of balls you can give up. I mean, the question is, what's harder, the combo or the safety?
Well,
that's the question because neither one is easy.
Yeah, Albie's touch is good enough, but he's not brave enough to have a go at it, so he's going to have a go at the combo.
Yeah, I don't think this is a bad shot. I mean, but he missed it the way people typically miss that. Is you've got to cut that more than it looks because the ball's going to throw, and that's how most people miss that combination is they don't cut it enough.
I'm terrible at those combinations where you lose sight of the line you need to cut the first ball as you go back around behind the shot.
Yeah, it's not an easy shot.
when I'm shooting a ball at a pocket, the blind cut is a little less of a problem because the pocket hasn't moved in all the years I've been playing pool. I know where the pocket is.
Well, have you watched that Mike Sigel video, Hairpig? Because he talks about the line that the cue, he uses the cue as an aiming tool, and shows you how to look at the line of the ball through the other ball when you're trying to play combos. I'm telling you, it's well worth a look, that video. I keep telling Stubb to go and look at it, but he's not interested.
I have a bunch of ways I visualize combos. I mean, that's one thing I use is I just look at the line I want the object ball to go in, but I would rather shoot them where I see the whole shot. I see everything, both balls and the cue ball, how they're moving, how they all connect. But sometimes when you look at them, you just can't see it. You're looking and looking and looking, and it still doesn't look any good.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when I go to that trick that like Siegel talked about, where you're just picking up the ball you want to hit the line you want to hit the first ball on.
Yeah.
It could be a diamond on the rail. It could be the corner of the titty on the pocket, but you're basically just aiming the first ball and trusting that the combo will go.
Well, he's going to try and run into these three.
Yeah, I mean.
Well, this is more than last chance saloon for Moz. This.
All right, he came out pretty good. I mean, he didn't mess up his 9-ball as a break ball.
Yeah,
he's just got
no shot though.
He's got no shot, and he's going to 11-4-1 is sitting funny.
Moz could set his.
He can see the 5-ball.
Moz could set his new high run for the tournament every time he comes back to the table for the rest of this match and still lose.
Yeah, he's going to run into the 1 or the 4, one of those two. Hopefully not go between them. That'll be disaster.
No, he's okay.
Yeah, he's fine. I mean, I think he needs to shoot the 4-ball here. I don't think the 15's going to be that great, but he could shoot the 15 if he wants. 15-7. Yeah, I like that play better.
This is actually one of the quicker matches in this tournament, believe it or not.
Yeah, well, these guys both play pretty good. I'd probably look at going 2 rails and shooting the 7 next. 1, 2 rails, 7. He's going to shoot the 7 now, which that's fine too. 7 and then the 9. 7, 9, 1, 15, 11. That's fine too.
Oh, you can tell Moses gave up. He's in the chat.
You just got to make up your mind. I'm not sure I would have done that.
We're in the chat, Hugh.
He's in the. Are you not watching the actual stream chat?
I am, but I see Stubb mentioning Moz.
Oh no! Wait a minute. I thought that was. Oh right, I've read it wrong. Apologies to Moz. I thought that was Moz. It's Stubb. I just saw Moz.
He shouldn't be in the stream chat while he's on a run.
I don't get that. I don't understand why he didn't go 7-9. This is a little funny here because he's got an angle where it's going to be. This. Oh boy, yeah, he's making it tough. He's probably gonna go 2 rails here. I mean, you could draw it across the side rail too, and neither one of these is an optimal position. I mean, he's where the way these are sitting.
Looks like
he
he's
may
shooting
shoot
at
the
the
11. Yeah, well, that's not a bad choice at this point because I think where he is just. But it's going to be hard to get on this 9-ball too.
It is. He managed to get there, so that's something.
Yeah, he played it well, but that was. Yeah, he was just in a terrible spot. Well, you need to be looking how this comes in. I think it's sitting pretty good where you can go forward into the 10-ball.
Yeah, hit the top of the 10, and so you can.
He needs to put top on this though. So he did not put any top on it. He hit that, just with maybe a half a tip up. He needed to put, tip and a half a top and force it into the 10 and keep the cue ball down there.
You can drive through the balls off the 2 here.
He can. This is a little funny. It's going to clip the 11 ball and go forward. I mean, he'll probably come up with something.
The bots in the chat. I saw a YouTube video. In fact, I googled it. One of the links, and these are spam bots from porn sites. So don't bother clicking any of the links. Well, stop.
Yeah, I've
well,
seen them spamming the same stuff in the what's the Matchroom pool event going on right now? They're live streaming on YouTube.
Yeah, the Champions
Premier
League,
League.
Premier League it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he really should have hit that harder because, you know, the rack is just, he could have spread him a little more. It wasn't going to spread great regardless. Yeah,
Will he go into him again off the 5?
Yeah, this situation is, this is a kind of situation you can get stuck.
Yeah, he
hit him hard enough. That was good. He needed to hit him really hard because that was what kind of place you can get stuck.
And I think he did have to go into him because if he just played for the 13, he's out of balls that he could use to open him up.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you have to shoot one of those kind of shots, but he did it the right way. A lot of spin, a lot of speed.
4 and 3 are dead set. 7 goes past the 4 and 3 that side.
Yeah, he doesn't really have problems here. I mean,
he
6 ball is a good break ball. I mean, he just, it would be nice to get the 10 out of the way, and he didn't.
Yeah, so the 10's kind of the problem.
14 goes past the 4 and 3. Again, I mean, the pattern is there to get rid of the problem balls. You know, you have to get
rid of a little puzzle.
You're right. I guess the 14 first and then the 10 in the side is probably the
I mean,
way to deal with that.
Well, the thing is you can play shape for that 14. Take this 1 ball. Well, he needed to get it not straight in, you know, because you could play shape for the 14. And if you don't get there, you got the 4-3 combo. It's dead, and the 7 ball goes. So you just got to get on that side of the table to get rid of the 14. And he's not going to from here.
No, he doesn't really have the angle.
You don't want to shoot the 6. He's got to shoot the 1 ball. He's got to figure out how to come up with a shot off of this. And what he needs to do is play shape on the 12 where he can move over to the other side of the table, and that's not it.
Well, the 3 goes in the corner from where he is now, so he might be.
Okay, yeah, he's fine then. He can shoot the 3 and bump the 14. If he hits it easy, it's going to rub the 4 ball. Yeah, this is fine. Oh, he hit that awful hard.
He never heard you there, Steve.
Well, I mean, the shot was fine. He just hit it harder than you really want to hit it, and took a chance. Yeah, this kind of sucks. He's going to have to shoot the 14 next. He's going to bump the 6 and then shoot the 14. And I mean, that's the thing is he's looking around like, what can I shoot? But the thing is you should have known when he shot that he was going to be shooting the 14 next because that's all he was going to have.
Now, the question here is he thinking of coming back for the 4 off this 14 or taking the 12 and taking it and then rolling through for the 4 up into the side?
I'd come back for the 4. I don't know what he's thinking.
I would too.
I'd come back for the 4. I'd just draw it straight down the table.
Yeah, playing from the 12 to the 4 does not seem...
way out in that.
Or you could do that.
Way out in that.
That's another idea.
I mean, the thing is, I don't know whether he was trying to do anything with the cue ball, because he didn't really need to do anything with the cue ball other than pot the ball and let the cue ball just run around the corner.
Yeah, I would have drawn it back and got to the 4 ball, but I mean...
Me too, because the 12 to the 4 from here where he is no bargain.
Yeah, but, you know, I mean...
Well, the only thing is he's left Albinario with a slight problem.
This is reasonable. I mean, the biggest problem here is he may tie his break ball up because he's going to want to bump this 14, and hopefully it's not going to end up on top of the 6. He wants to bump the 14 with a little speed so that it separates and he gets a shot on the 4. He may get a shot on the 14. He doesn't want to tie his break ball up.
That'll do it.
Oh, I didn't realize those things went. Okay, the 4-ball goes. So
I think the
didn't
14
realize
almost does too.
I
It's
didn't
like half
realize
a
he had
pocket.
that option. So
Yeah.
I thought they were locked up. That's not a bad play.
Oh, maybe you
know,
you were right here, Peggy. You should have took the 14 because he should have seen that coming.
Well,
yeah,
I don't
he
know if I
should've-
would have shot it. It wasn't a whole pocket.
He probably should have stunned it. I mean, because going forward didn't look like it was. I mean, it was going to hit the 14 for sure. Well, I
Yeah.
think he's going to have to shoot the 6-ball.
Yeah, Steve, you've gone a wee bit quiet again. Blind
Oh,
Hog,
okay,
Blind
sorry.
Hog is also slightly deaf.
Yeah, I mean, my mic keeps moving around. Well, he's perfect on this ball. That was.
He played that thin cut great.
Yeah, well, he knew where the cue ball was going. He understood the speed and understood the path, and Albinario's a good player. I mean, he's definitely got a chance to win this thing.
Bonus ball. So Albinario, well, they're all there for him. If he picks them off, he'll be home and dry.
So semi-pro ends up
16, he needs to
forfeiting
get
both
into
of
the
his
next
matches. That's weak, Semi. Is he still here? Let him know that's weak. Semi forfeits both his matches.
Semi was saying his work schedule has been a big problem.
You got to make a living.
What are you doing with that?
Semi-pro.
What are you doing with that microphone, Steve? I
Is
mean,
it up my nose now?
it's been up your left nostril, it's been up the right nostril.
I'm having trouble with it. I need it doesn't have like a little screw lock on it where I can get it in a good spot. It's just, anytime it gets bumped, it moves.
Buy
It's
a decent,
like on a pivot.
buy a decent bloody headset, Steve. You're bloody rolling in it. You can afford. You can afford it.
This was a really good headset.
I'll tell you what
15,
I did in
15 years ago. This was a top-notch one. It's just I think it's just too dated.
Right, we're going to have a crowdfunding for Steve's headset, same as the last time, guys. I wouldn't hold out too long, Steve. I don't think there will be many people willing to put much.
Well, either go to Amazon or Newegg.
Oh, Larry, that's a bit of a dig. That is a bit of a dig. That there, Larry. That is. I can see where you're coming from there.
All right, you guys. What's a good headset? Sensor SG500 on Amazon. That one's pretty highly rated. Razer Kraken.
That's the one I've got. I don't like. The only thing I don't like about it is the mute button, which is dodgy. Listen. You hear that?
Yeah, that's no good.
Yeah, you hear that crackle? Yeah, that's
yeah.
no good.
That's because they bought the 5-cent Chinese part instead of the 7-cent one.
Yep, that's exactly it.
How's the microphone adjust? Does it just swivel?
The microphone actually, when you stop using it, you push it back into the headset. So,
but how do you adjust the position?
You bend it any way you want.
Okay, so it's a bendable.
I mean,
at least that'll stay set.
I could put it right under my nose like that. How does that sound?
I think you're dead. I can't hear you. Oh, there you go. Yeah, that sounds great.
All right. Well, just a quick bend away. Problem solved.
Yeah, I'll have to research which one I'm going to buy. I've got a Plantronics now. Right now, this Plantronics Voyager Focus on Amazon is $145. I told you this is a really good headset. It's a Plantronics. It's just 15 years old.
I've got a Logitech headset, Steve, that's older than that. And I mean, all it is just tiny sponge earpieces that's on it. It was so cheap when I bought it, and it still works. Well, no, tell a lie. I think that was it. It failed. No, it broke. Yeah. I think I binned it.
That Razer's on sale. Normally $50. It's $30. But I'm not sure I can deal with that mute button because I mute a lot.
No, that's the one fault I would find in it. Everything else, the earpieces on it, they cover your ears completely, and it's metal as well. So when you bump the earpieces, everything guards the earpiece. There's like a cage, sort of a curve of metal round the outside of the headset that they'll take bumps and bangs. Not that you're going to bump and bang them, but they're very sturdy as far as that goes. The only fault is that mute button.
Yeah, well, that right away rules it out because
Yeah.
I mute a lot. I'm in here, eating cookies and drinking coffee, and you don't want to hear that, so I press the mute a lot. Well, this match is looking like it's going to be over, maybe without Moz getting to the table again.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
fat lady singing.
I mean,
He's going to have to take his break ball
that 2 ball doesn't go by.
unless he.
And he got a little thin on the 7 to hold for the 2.
Yeah, he's going to have to hit this a lot of inside.
He played it well.
Very well
Pocket
done.
speed.
Just stun
gotta
it back
draw
a little.
straight
Now,
back.
this is what Albin does well. He hits those little shots really good. He's a little straight, but you just blast it.
He doesn't really need to blast it too much. He only needs 4 balls to come out.
Yeah, and he hasn't got one.
Yeah,
Sure,
it's
he's
just
on
coming
the
up with a
floor.
shot.
He's on
Four
the-
on the side. Yeah, 4 on the side.
Yeah, you can shoot the combo, the 4 ball. He's fine.
4, 13, 5, 6. Maybe.
He's out. He's out here.
He is out.
So what's that? 2 hours and under 2.5 hours. Yeah, I probably can in XSplit, but I haven't bothered because that then would confuse me. It'd probably wreck something else. So Albinario comfortably goes through by basically scoring a lot more than Moz ever did in his visits, and that's how you win. You just get through. Albi got the high run for him for the tournament. Quick look at the bracket.
Look at Semi. Semi, you need to get your priorities right. I mean, tell your girlfriend you need to play VB4. Come on.
Well, the bad news for Tommy is he now knows his opponent. It's going to be Albinario in round 4. And on the bottom half of the draw, oh dear, you want the bad news here, Peg, in case you didn't already know. Stubb is waiting for you. And I think that is everything on the schedule. The match between LS3 and Wanwa is underway, and that is going to be over fairly soon as well, because it started an hour and 40 minutes ago. And Wanwa is a mile behind, and LS3 is in a run of 21, raced to 150, and she's on 105.
Oh boy, Wanwa's he's getting tattooed. Oh, I guess I still haven't adjusted the rating for him on straight pull because he's at 2,900.
Yeah.
I think he was one of the players who got pissed off when I adjusted Cowboy.
Yeah,
He's gonna
well.
be more pissed off when I adjust the straight because those high ratings were from when there was a bug at one point or the point games were not doing the right thing.
Well, he's never a 2,900 player, let's put it that way. No.
Well, I like when I talk to players and I go, yeah, I'm going to adjust them. Oh, don't. I worked really hard to get this rating. I'm like, well, but that rating was for a bug. But I worked really hard to get this rating. It's like you can't have a conversation.
Well, all you need to say in reply is, well, you're going to have to work a lot more again. Oh dear.
Yeah. If you deserve it, you'll get it back.
What's one was saying? Rating Cowboy Destroyer, nobody talk.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. That's what I'm talking about. He lost his Cowboy, the Cowboy rating that he got from a bug. He lost it, and he's up unhappy. But the bad thing is, when you go to play in tournaments, you get a higher rating, especially since we've got something in there where it kind of averages the ratings for similar games. So, his rating ends up being higher than it should be, and he ends up giving up more handicap than he should.
Yeah,
you don't want that problem.
Oh,
It's hard enough to win.
There's Moz in the chat. Unlucky Moz. That's you for a. Well, you've still got the one lot, the one-loss side, you'll
you're still on at Moz.
You'll cause problems for people on the one-loss side.
It's trying to rip through the losers bracket.
Who's he got next?
Yeah, you never know. You might bump into Stubb.
Right, I'm about to send him to the one-loss side next round. So.
Yeah,
that's right. Yeah, I want to see that match.
Anyway, while this is going on at the moment, quick look at the stats just to refresh your memories. If we look at the where are we? The straight pull stats, and go to the high run, we can see that Mr. Fox is still in the lead by a clear 20 points to Hairpig, who is on 67. So 87-67. Stubb jumped into third place on 60, and Bedhead on 56. Albinario with his high run tonight of 54, and
Albinario,
his average run. There's the real story there, because Albinario's contributions, small as they may be in relative terms to what you can get, he's on 25 as an average run. Fair enough, he's only played one match. That's going to probably come down slightly, but it's a good average to start with.
Yeah, very good.
I don't think it says good things about my game that I'm in second place for high run in the tournament and like 10th place for average run.
Yeah, but the thing is, as long as you take the points and run, as long as you do it the right way, you don't stick, push the boat out just to try and keep a run going. Running
as long as you pop off a big one next match against Stubb, everything's going to be fine.
Then we've got Tommy on 48, and where's Larry? You can never see Larry on these leaderboards now. He's that far down. Wonder if Larry's still in the stream. Oh, there he is. He's on 45. And, or is that Tommy? I can't even keep a straight line here.
That's Larry. Larry's at 45.
Yeah, and, Moz is there on 42, and Sergeresh on 41, and then they all tail away right down to Spudboy, who's played 2 matches, and it's still a disgrace. 2 matches he's played, and his high run was only 8. That's a total bloody embarrassment.
It sounds like me last time I tried to qualify for the straight pull of Derby.
But
it wasn't quite that bad, but it wasn't good.
And there was a very rude awakening when I switched from practicing on the normal pockets to the narrow ones. Is if I run 100 on the normal pockets, but every 5th shot is in the edge of the pocket, then you switch to narrow, and that's not a run of 50. It's not a run of 20. It's 25 runs of 4.
Yeah.
Oh, you're telling me. Well, those narrow ones on VP are 4.5. My rail table at home that I practice on has 4-inch pockets on it.
Potman second from bottom and 14. And that, again, and these are guys that have played VP since the very early days, and they can pot balls, but they couldn't pot any more than 14 max and 8 max. That's really bad.
They're in here playing straight pull, and they're learning, and if they keep playing straight pull, they'll get better, and that number will go up. You just got to play.
Oh, there's another result came through. I never even noticed that one was on. Woody has beaten Brain Fell Out 150 to 107. How does that make the bracket look? Let's have a quick look.
Larry versus Woody.
Where are we? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that could be a good match. Larry and Woody.
Right, so Bedhead's going to be playing LS3 next. And then the winner of that match will play Moz, who will then end up playing the winner of the Larry Woody match. So there's some good matches to come on the one-loss side.
All right, gentlemen. Well, it's been very fun, but I am logging off.
Yeah, I
Good
think.
hearing from you.
Is it worthwhile staying to the end of this, Steve, or are you heading out? Because I would sooner head to bed.
Yeah, I'm heading out. I think this is a
formality.
Yeah, I mean, he's way behind, and she you know, he's going to have to run some runs, and I don't think that's going to happen. Doing stuff like that.
This is probably his high run at the moment, I think. Even though I haven't seen any of it, but I think this is probably it. So, yeah, I think it's a good time to call it quits. I'll go and get a coffee and then head to bed. That'd be a good idea.
Good night
so,
to you. Thanks, guys.
Thanks for joining. Take care. See you later. And thanks to everybody for watching. And don't forget, if you miss any of the matches, they will be on YouTube. So, you know, if you see something in the schedule where you don't think you can join us, don't worry about it. You'll be able to watch it all. So I will bid you good night. Stay safe. Take care. And we will see you again soon, no doubt. Now, how do I bail out with this?